Go for it.
All right, it is recording. Welcome to BeerCast number 2, and we have Johannes Wang from
Sweden, currently living in London.
Right? So, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's all good. We've been locked down for quite some time now. I think at least
Right.
5 or 6 weeks.
I mean, it's crazy, right? Because when I was in London about 2-3 months ago, you would have never imagined this would have happened.
No one
Right.
really imagined it. So I think it came as a shock to most
Right.
people, but I got used to it. There's a lot
How
of
long
beer
have you
drinking
been inside at the moment?
I'm not sure. Like how many weeks or?
Yeah, how many weeks?
So I went into lockdown earlier because I got sick, not
What?
from corona, but
What?
no,
Did
I
you
was
have
sick.
fever?
I didn't get tested. Yeah, I had fever, and because of that, I isolated myself. And then after I got better again, then the official lockdown started. So that was since the beginning of March, which is what 1.5 months ago.
1.5 months ago, right?
Yeah.
In a way, I've also been in a self-quarantine for almost, for 2-3 months now. It's not like full quarantine. You still go outside, but I visited Italy, right? Right at
Yeah.
a time when Italians had no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, like they knew things were bad in China.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw a lot of tourists coming from our region to Italy.
Yeah.
And people were not wearing masks, or they were not really concerned, but that really concerned us, the people who came from Japan and from these Asian areas, right? So we were wearing masks all the time. We come back and my friend gets sick.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided not to go to the lab, stay inside. And after that, one after the other, I mean, things got bad in other countries too, right? Italy got worse, then slowly spread over to London. So it's been 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks now for you?
So for me, it's like 5 weeks. The official
Right.
lockdown's been here for 3 weeks, and they just extended it for at least another 3 weeks.
Right.
So
it's pretty bad. Well, it's the perfect time to drink beer then, right?
So here it's daytime because of the time difference. You being in Japan, it's 1 o'clock.
Well, it would have been either you in the morning or in the afternoon, or me in the morning or in the afternoon. You took the shot, so well.
No, I'm not unhappy.
You're not unhappy. Oh. Is this usually the time that you start drinking?
No, actually not. It does happen a lot of drinking though. So, but I just keep myself until later. Yeah.
Right, but I liked the fact that when I was in London, you could just roam around before 12 o'clock, like do all the touristy stuff, and after 12, the pubs would open, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was the best part. Like it would open so early.
Yeah. No, we definitely. I mean, there have been a couple of days when we had some beers when walking around outside. I think even once this week. So it's not new to me to drink at this hour. That's for sure.
Okay. What kind of beers do you have lined up today?
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I've all Japanese lineup. So I think that would be interesting just to see what kind of beers there are they are producing. I have Saison, IPAs, and Imperial Stouts today.
So I have a bit of a mix. Maybe could just show it to the camera and talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
I think mostly UK beers because that makes sense being in the UK. So showing our local stuff. First one being from Siren. I think it's quite a popular beer. I had it. This one I had before. Most of these I haven't had before. It's called Yulu. It's a session pale ale. It's brewed with Earl Grey tea. A lot of people like it. So let's see. We have this one. It's called Raspberry Dry Hopped Sour. What's this one? It's from Collective Arts Brewing. So a brewery I never tried before, and it's from Canada, actually.
Collective Art Brewing.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
No, first time.
Yeah. Then a saison from Unity Brewing. That's English brewery from Southampton, I believe. Then I got 2 beers from a brewery called Deya. I think they're quite popular these days.
Deya doesn't sound like an English name. What's the meaning of Deya?
Yeah,
Daya in Nepali is it's like, what do you call it? Daya. Daya is kindness.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what they're going for.
But Daya, I have no idea. Does it have Indians like paintings or anything like that on the can?
There's a hop microphone.
There's a hop.
Is that
okay.
Indian?
No.
And then this one has coriander and orange. That's a bit Indian.
Coriander is definitely closer to home. Right.
But I think it's because it's a Belgian wit. That's what they're having these things on.
I see. Right.
And then we're finishing off, of course, also with an Imperial Stout. This is from Pojala. This is Estonian brewery.
Right.
I think they make good beers in general. But
I had their Imperial Stout before. They do a pretty good job with that.
Didn't we have one together even? Might have had one together.
Might have had. Before I left Seoul, I think.
Yeah.
That was that time. All right. So you have a saison, right? Why don't we start out? Do you want to start out with saison? Because that's the lightest stuff I have at the moment.
So
it's a recently released beer called they just call it beer saison, and the company is Yoho Brewing. Have you tried the Yona Yona Ale, which is one of the more popular?
Yeah, I've had the Yona Yona.
Yeah, so that's the same company that has made this saison. I don't know why, but when I went to Okinawa recently, there were a lot of breweries there. Not a lot of, like there were a few breweries, but they all had saison in their lineup. Like, for example, if you go to a normal brewery, they have what? Pale ale, stout, right? The usual suspects, wheat. But with that, they all had saison, which was okay. That was interesting for me because.
But you've had this beer before or not? This is not.
This is the first time. Yeah, I just got it from Lawson. I was just opening it up. So this is the challenge here. So I'm trying to pour it in front of the webcam, and then trying to maintain the distance with the mic, which makes it very difficult.
It's a bit worried to then drop my beer on the laptop at some point.
Right. There's a good chance. There's a good chance for that. Okay. So, well, successful.
I can do it a little bit further away. There we go. How much for this? So this is actually a dry hopped apricot saison.
Okay.
I tell you straight up that saison is pretty much my favorite beer style these days, but I don't like most saisons. I think some of them tend to be too sour.
Did you have this before?
Beer? No, I never had this beer before, so it's gonna be. Let's see.
All right, so want to smell it? Oof! Just hit the mic. This is a nightmare. All right. Okay.
Definitely getting some apricot out of that. Mine is very hazy compared to yours. If you,
it's very watery. Looks like a lager. Like if I just looked at it, looks like a lager.
Okay, this is straight up sour.
Okay.
Not bad. It's very tasty actually. Bit of a malty aftertaste.
This one is sweet on the nose. A lot of apples for some reason. Apples. I've actually never done a beer tasting through video conferencing. I think this is probably my first time, because usually you have people, right? You have people to share with, and then you do blind tasting, or you just have you get to put it in a little cups and just distribute and listen to people. But Yeah,
It's a bit
coronavirus
difficult,
has
yeah,
done it.
because we're not drinking the same beer. Can't really ask for your opinion on this beer. I remember in our previous BeerCast that was back and forth on what we
When
thought
was
about
that?
the beer.
Because I tried to look for it. Maybe I couldn't find it, but which year were we drinking that?
I would guess it was 2013.
2013. 7
Yeah.
years, man.
Mm-hmm.
7
It
years.
was just when I moved into my flat there, and the Home Plus nearby had some of these more exotic beers other than Height and Cass. So
Was that the bigger Home Plus, right? The
yeah,
one that had some, let's say, more familiar names in
yeah.
craft brewing at that time.
I think we picked out. I watched this recently. The Weihenstephaner German Weizen as this is a really good beer.
Mm.
But style-wise, we both obviously prefer the IPA, which is
What
not a bit of.
was it? The Seven Brow.
Was it the Seven Bro? I think we had the Indica as well. I'm not sure, but the
Right.
Indica IPA, not something I would really,
No.
find or drink these days. But
What's happening with Lost Coast Brewing? Because Indica is from Lost Coast, right? I've not heard anything or drank anything from them ever since, which is kind of weird because, like, if they had a market penetration as Indica, you would expect more beers.
well, they exported a lot to Korea, that's for sure. I don't know how big they were in America. I mean,
You could actually buy like cases of them in Costco, as I remember, in Korean Costco.
yeah.
But yeah, here you don't see that. Indica is the one with the Ganesha, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
that has
they ran into
alien stuff on it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
right. They ran into some troubles with Hindu extremists as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, sizzle. So, do you like your beer? I mean, it's sour.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say this is like a favorite saison. It doesn't really tick the boxes for a saison that I would like. It does advertise itself as a dry hopped apricot saison. Is it a good beer? Yes, I would say I can drink this. It's a bit on the sour side. Quite easy to drink, to be honest. Am I looking for a little bit more flavor down the road today? Probably yes.
This one
You?
is 4.5%, very light, as you would expect. I think Yoho Brewing is good at getting the beers to the local stores, right? If you want, let's say, a little watered down version of craft beers, Yoho Brewing would be the one because they have the market capacity to penetrate such as big stores as a Trial. Trial is like a superstore here. They're selling their beers too, so that's kind of interesting. Where you have a craft brewery selling beers in a big store.
Yeah.
That also means they are, let's say, I'm not sure how big it is, but maybe it's the same level as Hitachi, no? The distribution.
Yeah. I mean, what you find in supermarkets here, obviously, local English ales, but a lot of BrewDog is craft beer wise. You find a Punk IPA pretty much everywhere.
I was actually surprised here too. There is a department store close by, and they had Punk IPA.
I think they market themselves quite strongly. Also, everywhere in Sweden, I think Punk IPA and Brooklyn IPA.
The Colosseum in Rome. So there's the Colosseum, right? And right next to it, they have a pub for BrewDog. I think they're. Yeah, I mean, as you said, they are big. I mean, big craft brewery. Could you say that? So
yeah, I would say it's like a big microbrewery. It's not even sure it's a microbrewery anymore. They definitely make beer that tastes, better than the standard lager. But
to say big microbrewery would be an oxymoron.
yeah, exactly.
It's just it's kind of the opposite.
No, but couldn't you have a microbrewery that's big on the scale of microbreweries? I don't think it's an oxymoron. Microbrewery doesn't, yeah. Because you also have breweries called nano breweries that are technically then smaller than microbreweries because they want to emphasize that it's smaller.
Yeah, I went to one nano brewery in US. That's how they marketed themselves. They only made sours, and basically their pub was their brewery as well. So they were brewing right there, and you could see like barrels there, and they called themselves nano brewery. That's the first time I heard. I mean, I've heard a lot about nano satellites, but nano brewery.
The thing is, just because they want to differentiate themselves from these larger microbreweries, that they're doing something different. Yeah, it's not the same beer you get at that brewery as you would get going to a BrewDog pub or a Mikkeller bar or so.
Right. What's your favorite pub right now in London?
It's my home. I mean, I can't go anywhere, right?
Yeah. Besides that, so let me change the question. What's the first place you would go if it opened and everything is fine, or you somehow have the antibodies and you could now mingle with people? Where would you go?
I would go probably to the Bergman's beer mine. I think that's where I've done a lot of beer drinking. So it's we didn't go there together, right? But I probably told you about it. It's a stretch under the railway with a lot of different breweries. So you can just walk from brewery to brewery and drink beer. So
that's where Colonel is also located.
Colonel is located, but they don't have a pub. They just sell their bottles there. But they brew there, I think.
Every Saturday, right? So you just go there and pick it up.
So these days it's open much more. Colonel opens Saturdays, but the other breweries tend to be open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now, I believe. But not during the lockdown, obviously, but it's a good time.
How do you get your beers? Do you order it online?
Right now, yes, definitely. In general, it's a bit of a mix. Just before the lockdown, we walked down to this. I have a local craft beer shop where I usually shop beers as well, and we picked up beers there. But else, it's a lot of ordering. I think I order from, for example, now from a local place called Beer Merchant that's out in Hackney Wick, where we went together.
Right.
And I also
so they can ship as well.
Yeah.
They can ship as well. Okay.
Yeah. And I order some stuff from Mikkeller these days, mainly because they have some stuff that I was interested in, like the Superstition Meadery.
Beer Merchant was one of my favorite places, man. I mean, I had that holy shit moment there. I can't even pronounce how many barrels they used before they could have that beer. But you know what? So I came to London. I think it was December, right? Late November, December, and then
was it that long time ago?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then on January I went to Italy, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a holy shit moment there. And then when I went to this pub, and they had opened it for 18, 19 years, even before the Italians learned about craft beer, right? Mm-hmm. And the owner wasn't there. I just heard the story. So the owner went to Germany, and then he started trying out the Bavarian lagers.
Yeah.
And he became a huge fan, and then tried to bring that to Italy. Mm-hmm. And when I started, I was like, I don't want to try lagers, but they were insisting, right? You should have it. And when I tried it, and I'm like, wow.
But what beer was it?
Good.
So is it a local craft brew, or is it the Bavarian?
So they bring it all the way from Germany.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an Italian Bavarian lager. I don't think you can call it Bavarian lager if it's not brewed. I don't know how they name it, but yeah. So they specialized in Bavarian lagers. They specialized in saisons and sour beers as well. There was one Italian You don't call it a brewery. What they do is they buy
Mm-hmm.
the wort.
Mm-hmm.
They buy the wort
Mm-hmm.
from different places, and then
Buy
they
the wort.
mix and all these kind of like chemical
That's
stuff
very
that they
awesome.
do, and yeah, so they mix it, and then they only specialize on sour beers.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
right. So
Okay,
it's
got
really
it.
interesting how Italians were approaching, and they had another thing called Italian grape ale.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about it?
No, but
Yeah, Italian grape ale,
I'm
and I'm like,
waiting.
what is an IGA? So in the supermarket I saw IPA, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna try this IPA, and then I look further, it's Italian pale ale. I'm like, okay, this is not happening here. Then they started talking about IGA in one of the breweries, and I was like, intrigued. What is this? And they bring it's not even a beer glass. They bring it in a wine glass. Apparently, in the brewing process, in the mashing process, they use grapes.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're moving very fast, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit first
Right.
to the sour ale part,
Okay.
sour beer part. Actually, a common way for a lot of breweries in Belgium when they make their sour beers is that they do not create the beers themselves, but they mix. So it's a little bit like making whiskey almost. That
Mm-hmm.
they take different beers or different worts perhaps and mix it to different blends and then age it
I see.
to make the kind of taste they want.
I see.
And then I was curious about the Bavarian beers you had. If you could, do you remember the brewery by any chance? Because I spent a
No,
lot of time.
they just said Bavarian lager. I think at that point I had already visited 2-3 pubs, and
Yeah. Okay, I
you know
get
how it is. After a couple of
Mhm.
beers, and you, your taste buds are still working, fortunately, right?
Yeah.
But your memory is a little hazy at that point.
Yeah.
Well,
But
so
yeah, so
Italy
this
was
was
like, yeah, Italy was another place that I really enjoyed. I mean, they have a really good craft brewing scene going on, much like London, I would say.
yeah.
Very different. Each country has their own styles going on. Like they're trying to have their own character, which is interesting. You don't see that a lot in probably Asia. Shintao was interesting. There's this brewery, I forgot the name, but there was one specific brewery that I really liked. They were brewing, like, one of the beer tasted like leather. I don't know how to describe it. It tasted like leather.
Like what kind of color? Like a darker beer or
Not even dark. It looks pale. It
okay?
tastes
Okay.
like leather, because like you, I thought it would be dark, right? Like something that tastes like
Leather
leather.
sounds dark. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I'm done with my saison.
Yeah, we can move on.
Wanna move on?
Got my water glass. And what's next on your menu? I'll try to match.
It's going to be an IPA.
IPA.
So I have a coffee IPA. I've never tried a coffee IPA.
I think I'll go with this Earl Grey Pale Ale from Siren.
All right.
I feel like that should be a natural next step.
So there is a IPA from, this one is Y Market, Hysteric IPA. And this one is Overdrive IPA, also from Y Market Brewing.
Yep.
Both of them. So
Is Y Market Brewing located?
Y Market Brewing.
Yeah, where in Japan is it?
Nagoya, as I know.
Nagoya. Okay.
Y Market Brewing. Yeah, made in Nagoya, Japan, in the pale ale. I would have read the contents for you, but unfortunately my Japanese is just very limited. I know some
Very nice.
izakaya words like nama biru kudasai. And
Exactly. I was there with you. That was pretty much what you could do. And it's what I also remembered because you taught me. The rest of the trip, I could order 2 beers on tap.
Right. Well, that's useful words, man. That's the most useful phrase besides toire doko desu ka? It's like 화장실 어디예요?
Where's the toilet? Where's the toilet? Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I am wondering if we're going to need a toilet during this BeerCast.
I'm sure we need. So what will happen is I'll probably have to cut it out as we go to the bathroom so that there's no silence. No
we could
flushing sound.
We could take turns. We could have like a monologue while the other person is away. You can
it's possible too. Yeah, I can do a monologue. No problem. Especially when I had a few beers. I'm opening the Overdrive IPA. It's kind of interesting. IPA. Yeah.
So the Siren Yulu for me.
Oh, I nearly poured it on my laptop. It's so hard.
This is only your second beer, so take it a little bit easy with that.
Okay. All right. It's a hand and eye coordination between the mic. You need to have an equal distance to the mic, and then you need to pour it in front of the web. There's a lot of things going on, Johannes. Yeah. You can see it's not as easy as it looks. Okay.
I'm doing the same thing. I don't know. Like my
you don't have a mic in front. Yeah, you don't have like a physical mic. It's just dangling next to you.
But
so that's the difference.
Yeah,
I've hit the mic a couple of times.
Cheers.
So this one.
Cheers.
Ooh. Galaxy hops.
Did you read that off the label, or you just pointing out it's Galaxy hops? You're like, that's Galaxy hops.
Yeah. So
I cannot pick out hops. That would not be possible for me.
It's probably because I don't know. Maybe they didn't use, but I've used Galaxy in my brewing before.
Yeah.
And it's.
I mean, I recognize some of the classics from back in the days, like Simcoe, things like this.
Sentinel hops is probably another very common.
No, I get a bit of nutmeg.
Citra, Sentinel. Those are.
Yeah, these are all very common hops. It's quite sweet, citrusy. Get a bit of nutmeg even.
For an IPA, it's not bitter.
I was pleasantly surprised. I've had this beer before, as I've said.
Okay.
I've never been a huge fan. First sip, not bad. Is my first impression. Definitely feel the Earl Grey more than I've done in other times.
So that beer is Earl Grey IPA?
It's a session pale ale with Earl Grey and lemon zest. So it's very English. It has the English tea, bit of lemon in there, and it's a beer. So yeah, England in the package.
Somebody was asking me. I don't know when I brought this Japanese green tea ale from somewhere, and then I just I made someone drink it, and he's just like, I think it was she. So she was just like, why don't you just drink a tea instead of this, like carbonated tea? And I'm like,
but was it like she wanted a tea instead, or did she want a proper beer, or what's the conclusion from
that? So in one case, if you give them a coffee stout, they start complaining, or they say it tastes like drinking a coffee, carbonated coffee.
Yeah.
And when you give them tea, it feels like carbonated tea. The question now is, do you feel like that too?
Oh, it does not feel like carbonated tea. And I drink, I think the only thing I drink more than beer these days is tea. I think we drink 3-4 pots a day. A lot of tea drinking going on. Yeah, but like real tea. I don't know. This looks like water.
No, this is cold brew, man. You just put it for a while. It's going to take some time. So
yeah,
it does look green. I think, it's not as green when you put it close. Because it looks watery now.
It's like the least green I've ever seen in my life.
All right. I regret showing this.
Yeah.
Mine is Overdrive IPA. I just don't know why they called it Overdrive.
You sound very disappointed.
Fun to brew. Well,
more.
it's fun to brew.
It's fun to brew. So they had fun brewing the beer.
They had fun brewing the beer.
Can you show the label again? What's going on over there? It says.
So it looks like some kind of a line that goes here.
This is the hops. There's no galaxy.
And then it goes. Where did you see hops? Where?
The hops. It's on the back. It's the black balls.
Oh, there's no galaxy. So actually, that's Simcoe, Centennial, Mosaic, Citra, Equinox. Yeah. There's no galaxy.
That's like a very classical American hops.
Right. So fun to brew, Overdrive. Okay. So they have all the Simcoe, Mosaic, Citra, Sentinel, Equinox, Overdrive IPA, fun to drink as well. So they have fun to drink.
Oh yeah. Are you having fun?
Well, now that I got the hops wrong, I don't know. This is boring, man.
Well, you got Centennial. Was Centennial in there? I mean.
Yeah, Centennial is there.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
I tried to guess hops.
I got 50-50.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I can't taste Citra though. I know Citra very well.
Might be more.
Simcoe, I don't think I can taste Simcoe at all.
Most likely they use the Simcoe as the bittering hops. I mean, you'd be my guess. Now it sounds like I know a lot about beer here all of a sudden, but yeah.
Yes, of course you know.
Yeah.
Well, at least you pretend to know.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think we drank our fair share of beer to know something. Yeah.
A little. It's okay. So it's getting better actually.
But you like the beer? Do you like the beer, or is it more of a disappointment?
I'm not sure if I went back and had the Sculpin.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm more into hazy IPAs these days. It's just the bitter is gone. There was a time where I liked bitter, but nowadays I'm more into sours.
Yeah, sours are good.
Sours are really nice. Refreshing. I mean, it's year round. You can drink it during the winters. You can drink it in the summers. Perfect spring beer, I would say. Yeah. If you go outside for picnics, sours, love it.
Yeah.
Still like imperial stouts during winters. It's a sipping beer. You just sit down. But Italian grape ale, it's nice when you know how to pair it well. It's sweet. It's too sweet for me. So you need something to balance that out.
Yeah.
Bavarian lagers, I'm not sure what to pair with that. But for you, what kind of style do you like these days?
Well, as I said earlier, Saison definitely up there. Drink a lot of different types of sours, fruit sours, lambics, goose. Of course, still IPAs, a lot of hazy IPAs. No. Not so much dark beers, but going a bit back to Belgian beers, you got like triples, especially, but also quadruples in the mix. And actually some lagers as well.
Okay.
Drinking Kölsch is not a lager, but Kölsch is something that's on the menu these days.
I've never had a decent Kölsch for some reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also think it's quite difficult to find. Depends on what you're looking for in a beer. I think it's quite a low-key beer, but it's easy to drink. It's quite pleasant, I would say. Has a bit of herbiness to it, but not like it's not supposed to be like an IPA or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know, because I think it's hard to find also outside Cologne or so even. Like you wouldn't find a lot of Kölsch or a lot of good Kölsch.
Nepal makes Kölsch.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How are they making it? Like, is it a good beer?
So the
It's
problem
an
is
interest.
I just don't, when I tried Kolsch in Nepal, I just didn't have a reference point.
Yeah.
It just tasted watery for me.
Yeah.
I think you would say something on par to a lager.
It's supposed to mimic a lager. That's pretty much how the style was born in the first place.
Kolsch is a ale,
Yeah.
but trying to mimic a lager, that's okay.
So it
All right.
pretty much comes from the fact that you had a lot of breweries in Cologne, Köln, where it's from, that brewed ales. And then at some point in time, late 1600s or so, you had this invasion of Pilsner beer, lager beers, that got really popular throughout Germany and Europe. And they were brewing ales, so they tried to kind of compete with them. So eventually this style was born, where you basically use ale yeast, so it's like brewing an ale beer, but you ferment it like a lager in cold temperatures, which pretty much kills some of the flavor, and then you filter the beer to take out kind of a bit more of the flavor and the haziness.
Okay.
So it's an ale mimicking a lager. That's pretty much what it is.
Well, why would you do that though? I mean, why?
It's like with everything in life. Like you have a lot of food that just is born out of circumstances, and it's just because at the time a lot of people want to drink lager. Still, people want to drink a lot of lager, but the style wasn't very popular until the 60s, so 1960s, where it kind of like gained some, I guess, like local patriotism. That's why they like it. But it's like it tastes similar to lager. It's crisp and dry.
Do you know how the newer craft breweries started brewing Kolsch? Because I do see when I think it was in Italy as well. I saw that in London as well. Some breweries are taking up Kolsch.
But I think every brewery, craft brewery, microbrewery interested in brewing pretty much any style are right. Like you want to experiment, you want to try. I've ordered something like it, which is a bit of a interpretation of a Kolsch. So it's a Danish brewery that is doing a Kolsch, but they don't filter it, and they're adding New World hops, American hops, to give it a bit more flavor. So we'll see how that is like.
Okay. So are you still on your IPA?
My pale ale, yes.
Yes.
I didn't skip to the next beer. I'm not cheating.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely feeling the beers already. So
I am. I'm definitely.
Yeah,
I had a whiskey before you came here.
So. You had a whiskey before as well.
Yeah.
I had a bit of delicious pea soup. It didn't get me drunk, but
I was hoping you would say something different. But pea soup? What's a pea soup?
Yeah.
Pea. You know
peas.
what?
Yeah.
Pea sounds. You know what pea sounds to me when people say, "I want to go pee."
Don't say it. Yeah, don't say it.
Yeah.
There's that little, like green.
Exactly. Both are green.
Yeah.
Both are green. So
it's green.
I'm just saying.
When you pee, it's green. That doesn't sound good. It should be more yellowish, I think.
So you had a pea soup.
It's our second beer. It's can't get like this already.
I'm not sure who's embarrassing whom now. All right. Okay. All right. It's all cool. Yeah. Nobody's judging, man. Nobody's judging.
Yeah.
When do you think, looking at the situation right now, at least in London, do you think, or do you see any light at the end of the tunnel, as they say? Do you see any end to the situation that's happening now? And I know that you were thinking about going to Korea.
Yeah, that's not happening. Unfortunately, it's one of my closest friends' wedding. I'll be missing out on that. Also be missing out on the trip. Still having to take the holiday most likely because of the situation here. But yeah, I don't see an end to it like in the short term. I see that there's going to be an end to it eventually. But I mean, I think we're looking at probably a cycling of lockdowns or measures for like at least until the vaccine comes out, which would probably be in a year or so.
This is unprecedented, man. I mean, it's difficult to even predict.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, if you're a restaurateur, right? So if you are owner of a restaurant and you need to, let's say, plan for worst case scenarios, you wouldn't even think about these things.
No.
You think about like fire insurance and whatever.
Yeah, because
you would never think about a pandemic that would hit you so hard that I was reading about Momofuku. You know David Chang, so he had to lay off 800 people. One of the most successful, restaurateur in US is struggling at the moment. And he looked dejected when he gave an interview recently, which was sad to see. I mean, I can only hope that, some people we know who are owning restaurants and running it are surviving. It's a difficult time for them.
Luckily, Korea is at least doing better for one specific person to be mentioned. But yeah,
right.
They're still up and running. Here, it's it's pretty grim.
So in case of Japan, it's kind of weird because everything is open actually. So they impose a state of emergency, right? But they have no legal right to impose a strict lockdown. So you can still go outside, you can still shop. Last weekend when I was trying to get some groceries, ton of people. But culture-wise, they already were practicing some social distancing before. They were already careful about wearing masks. So they're always very careful about how others feel about how you behave. So they make sure that if they have something or some problem, some cough or whatever, they are wearing masks, which is kind of like different, I would say.
It definitely is.
Different culture than what it is in London.
And
initially they were saying don't wear mask. Were people wearing masks, or what was it in London?
It's still, most people don't wear masks still. Yeah, but I definitely think this. No, I recently acquired some masks, but I mean one of the issues is as well there's a shortage of protective gear for the staff that actually needs to work, and I think they were not prepared for it. I know, for example, Korea was much more prepared for this, but I do agree, and a lot of my friends as well, one big difference with the situation in East Asia and Europe would be culture, and the fact that you would take a different stance to these kind of situations and be listening much more to authority, which is why they haven't had to implement strict lockdowns in Korea, for example.
Sure. I think depends on how well you can do contact tracing, right? And for example, in Korea, you get all these apps that tell you not to go to a region, or they buzz if there is a concentrated amount of cases in a particular area, which is pretty cool. I mean, you have that here too, but it's not, I don't know. It's very difficult to get masks. I've been reusing the same masks for a week now, which is not recommended. But it's better than just wearing nothing, just in case that you cough in an outer chance, and there might, like these days it's crazy, right? Like it's a social stigma if you're coughing. I was at the gym and I had to cough, and I had to go inside the bathroom, like inside the toilet to cough.
Yeah.
just to make sure that nobody was listening to me coughing. Was man, if you're
Like
coughing at the
someone
gym,
outside be like, "Did you cough?
yeah,
Did you cough in
exactly.
there? Get out! Get out!"
What I like about Japan is their OCD in the first place.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to be clean. You saw how things are here, right? They're extremely careful about cleanliness. And it's not a bad place to be living in, but at the same time, it does look like the government is struggling in many ways because they had invested so much money in Olympics, and now the Olympics was not going to happen. They lost all this money, and then on top of that, they have a second wave of COVID-19 cases coming up. So definitely difficult for them.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, moving on. Shall we?
What's next? Yeah. What's next for you? Let's see.
You have a couple of sours. What do you have?
I do have one sour. I have one IPA that I'm definitely drinking today. I got a wheat.
Okay.
But let's see. Yeah.
How many beers do you have?
I have 4 beers left. Don't need to drink all of them, but
exactly. Yeah. So I have a coffee IPA before I move into coffee stout.
Oh, you got like coffee IPA, coffee stout, imperial stout. That's what you're doing.
Right. So I'm slowly moving from Saison IPA. Yeah. So this one was Overdrive that I had before, and as you said, I completely got it wrong for Galaxy. It's Sentinel, Uquanaut. I've never heard of this before. Mosaic, Simcoe, Citra. Pretty common hops.
Yeah. Well, what's this? I don't know.
Aquanaut. They probably put small amounts. But I heard Citra was very hard to find these days. I don't know how they do it.
All right. I don't know. Well, maybe it's brewed a while ago.
All right.
Well, if you're doing an IPA, then I also do my IPA of I was going to say the night. This is definitely not night here. Mino beer, familiar with that, been there in Osaka.
Mino, they're participating every year in Kyushu Beer Festival. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen this year. I was completely not prepared for this because I need a opener.
I have an opener ready, and I have mostly cans. I only have one beer I need this for, actually.
Wow. I never knew Johannes was so prepared for everything.
Oh, yeah. So my IPA has some similar hops to yours. Your previous one, Citra and Mosaic.
Citra and Mosaic.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get the opener or a spoon, whatever fits.
Yeah, whatever you find first. Right. I'll keep people entertained meanwhile for this beer. So this is the Deya Invoice Me for the Microphone IPA. Speaking to myself, this feels very odd. Pouring for another person.
The IPA's name is Microphone?
Yeah. Invoice me for the microphone. Invoice me for the microphone. So you bought a microphone. There's some invoice. There's an invoice.
So I bought this mic, and then an invoice doesn't come, and then I have to go to the store and say invoice, right? It's like that.
Maybe you just take the microphone in the store and you just walk out and you say invoice me, like you're a rock star. Maybe that's what they do.
Right.
Probably.
You look back, like you turn back slowly, and you go like invoice me. Yeah. Or I can do a deep voice. Invoice me for the mic. Don't do that. Please. Don't do that. Can you please give me that invoice? No. I'm dying for the invoice.
To look at this in 10 years' time. That's terrible.
Do you realize in 10 years you could have a kid looking at you drinking beer, getting drunk as F,
I was the first part. I was definitely along with kids. I would hope to have kids in 10 years. They would not be watching this video, that's for sure.
Who knows, man? You never know. The internet is a weird space. Once it's out there forever.
Yeah, and then Uncle Abbas will show up and be like, "Hey kids, you want to see your dad when he was getting smashed during the Corona lockdown?"
This is going to be an interesting tale to tell. I mean, right now it's not fun, obviously. Like, you can't go and hang out with people. But I think when you're with your grandchildren and you're talking about this, I think it's going to be fun where like you tell them the story. Like, you can exaggerate, right, at that time.
Of course I'm going to exaggerate. This is all for the grandkids. It's all for the grandkids. It's going to be a great story, the great pandemic of, well, I don't know. Is it 2020 is going to be longer than 2020?
They called it the Great Depression in 1930s, isn't it? It's going to be the great pandemic that killed people, that stopped economies. Trains had stopped, not in Japan, everywhere else. All right. So
so I thought you had hazy stuff going on. Mine is definitely
it's not hazy. No. I had a hazy IPA, but that's not from Japan.
Okay, you just do Japanese, please.
Yeah, all Japan.
This is English. It's hazy. Looks a little bit like good apple juice, freshly pressed. I would say I smell the citra and the mosaic. That's exactly the hops that are in there. Not guessing. And definitely sweet, fruity, citrusy.
You know, I'm never gonna guess hops again.
I told you.
I went on record like so confident. I got it wrong.
Yeah, it's the worst part is they actually wrote it out on the can, as you would have gotten away with it.
And but there were so many, dude. There were so many hops, and it was not Galaxy there.
Yeah.
All right, that's a train that has been, gone, ship that has sailed.
This is good though. This is good.
Wow.
Drinking it, I mean, it's a hazy IPA. It does its job very well of being a hazy IPA. Not very bitter. It's sweet, juicy, easy to drink. Would be great in the sun. Also great here on the couch. Yours?
So it's a coffee. I'm hitting the mic. Coffee IPA. And I was expecting a coffee-like color, but I was expecting a dark IPA. Unfortunately, it's not. Let's see the taste and smell. Oh,
coffee?
It's not even coffee. It smells like chilies.
Oh, and
I don't think I can finish this beer, man.
Is it that bad?
It's not that bad. I mean, but okay, I could drink this glass, but I cannot drink the whole bottle.
Yeah, but I also have it's a big can I'm working with. It's half a liter.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it, but I mean, we also have to get through. At the end of the day, I have to get through.
But Johannes, did you notice you're getting chubbier? By the way.
Yeah, of course. It's age and lockdown combined.
It's not about age, man. I think you and me is the same age. No, yeah. You're what, like probably 1 year older.
You're still a student doing the student life.
Stop using that student argument. You use that in London as well.
Yeah, but it's like Hyunmin. It's the same deal. It just happens. Corporate life,
I like how you brought Hyunmin into the conversation.
What? I mean, it's
just because the funny thing is we started talking about chubby people and then you bring in Hyunmin. Like, boom.
It was the same. It's the same situation. We were young, active. we're making fun of that guy. No, I can feel him now.
You
I
could
get to
feel him
like
now. Okay.
now.
Wow.
You get there as well. I mean,
What? No, I'm not gonna join corporate life. It's gonna be very sad in Nepal when I go back.
but you're gonna join something. That's
Let's
that's
see. Let's
definitely
see.
gonna.
Right.
You're gonna sit there. You're gonna eat your momos. You're gonna drink your beer.
Just for the record, I'm not gonna be sad in Nepal if anybody's gonna see this again. I don't want to be like, did you say you were sad in Nepal? Why? Why are you sad in Nepal?
Did you say you were sad in Nepal?
Yeah, I said I'm going to be sad in Nepal. That's what I said.
Yeah, well, now you said it
On
again, so you
record.
definitely said it twice.
I didn't say that. Did you make me try to say that again? Oh my god, man.
It's
In
still
Nepali,
me.
it's called Afno Kutama Bansura Hannu. It's like you take an axe and then you cut your own leg a couple of times, like you chop it.
That doesn't sound like a good idea, no.
Doesn't sound like, and that's what you're trying to make me do, man.
Yeah. So
I probably have to cut this out from the conversation.
no, no
Just
cutting.
because, no, dude, it's gonna be edited out.
Yeah.
Imagine like in the next. Okay, so let's say, I'm not saying you could be the president of Sweden, right? I'm
There's
just
no
saying.
president in Sweden.
Okay, prime minister, because you have a king. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
You still have a monarch? My God, man. Anyways, so they could actually use this as a reason for not making you the prime minister. I'm just saying. It could be the because they could show this.
No,
they could show this in public TV. I mean, come on, you don't want to see a young Johannes a little chubbier Johannes drinking.
I'm not young anymore either. Yeah.
Come on, you're not okay.
Probably,
you're not old.
The thing
though.
is,
you're not
but the
old.
thing is, when I'm up for prime minister, this is gonna be the non-chubby version. Like that, it's like, I'm gonna have a prime minister body. You're gonna have like a bit of a belly,
sure.
Proper like
beer belly.
No, like a prime minister belly. Like you have all the knowledge, experience in here, like Winston Churchill style.
Exactly. So that's where the knowledge is, right? That's where you store all the knowledge, anyways. Mm-hmm. It's not here. It's in the belly.
This knowledge is gone a long time ago because of this. Yeah.
Do you like your? Okay, so the question is, and it's gonna go on record. Do you like your country?
Which country? Sweden or?
What do you mean? Which country? How many countries? Oh, right. You have Korea as well.
I live in the UK. I'm also Korean. I like all of them.
You have dual citizenship. Is that correct?
We're not talking about this. This is why I'm not gonna become president in Korea. So they're gonna arrest me.
Did they corner you? Okay,
this is off the record.
So you cannot accept or deny, right? That's what you're saying.
Let's just say that there is something called mandatory military service in Korea, and it's not something I'm willing to do.
Right.
But I'm, not because I dislike it in any way in that sense. I just don't like violence.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. I can see the logic in there, but I had a counter argument which I don't want to state it right now.
Did I do jiu-jitsu or?
Huh? Jiu-jitsu? You still do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. Well, not these days because of the lockdown. You're gonna get some corona if you did that. Or actually, it's shut down. But yeah.
Everything should be shut down right now, right, in London? Because I saw some videos from London, and I was like, "Oh, I've been here. Oh, it's oh shit! It's like completely closed. Nothing there." Which is kind of like very. It's almost like looking into a weird movie where, you have a situation where everything is closed and there's no one outside. Yeah, it does look like that right now. I mean, did you watch Contagon?
Contagion. Yeah, I've seen it twice, I think. Not recently, but yeah.
So how do you pronounce it? Contagion?
Contagion. Contagion.
Contagion.
Yeah, but, and now I
Contagion.
don't want to be the person saying that it should be pronounced like that and it's wrong.
All
But
right.
yeah, contagion.
Okay. So how would you pronounce it?
Uh,
You were
contagion.
our editor in chief, by the way. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So what was the
But
right way to
there's no
pronounce?
pronunciation when you write. There's no pronunciation in the quill. Yeah, we were
Oh,
not doing broadcasting.
okay. I'm just saying,
Contagion.
I know that sometimes you used to correct people. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh no, I
Saying.
I mean, I just
Yeah.
corrected you, didn't I? So
Yeah. You have that habit. You do know that, right?
yeah, of course, I'm
Yeah.
very well aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It just feels like I have to educate this.
Anyways, as anyways, we're talking about the movie. Did you like the movie? What did you think about it?
Yes, I like the movie. Now it's not fresh in my mind because it was a few years back since I saw it.
What? You didn't watch it after the pandemic? Everybody watched it because of the pandemic, man.
Yeah, but
I didn't even know the movie existed.
I've seen it twice before the pandemic.
What? Really?
Yeah.
So you should have been prepared, man. You don't look prepared at all. You
I
don't look prepared.
I had toilet paper.
Well, in the movie, there's no scene where there's people are running out of toilet papers.
No, but the thing is, I was like, what's going on? In other countries, people are running out of toilet paper. What should I do? I should probably get myself some toilet paper. It's not about.
Wait, did you seriously get some toilet papers? Right? Really?
Yeah, I bought it, but I bought it online. I didn't get it from the store even. I ordered some toilet paper. I ordered a big bag of rice, so I have that.
Really, there was some kind of situation before in Japan regarding toilet papers that prompted this kind of behavior. I think we first saw it in Japan actually, before it sort of, I don't know, fireballed somewhere else. But I was really surprised. Everything is gone in the. But fortunately, I had this really special toilet papers, and we also have bidet. Do you know bidet?
Yeah, it's very nice. I would like to have one as well. I'm looking actually into.
I mean, toilets that talk to you and toilets that open for you when you enter. It's crazy, right? I mean, coming from Nepal, and then man, this is.
We don't have toilets. That was the end of it.
I told you the story about the goats, right? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. So exactly. I mean, that goat story. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, going from that level, that goat toilet level, to bidet, it's almost like old technology to space technology. There you go. No? All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much your. Are you trying to reference your own life now? Is that what you're doing? You are referencing your own life.
Dude, you should have just agreed. All right, just not, man.
But I was not. This was what was going on. I was like a goat in Nepal, and from that I rose to become a space goat. I am now the Elon Musk of Nepal. That is pretty much your statement.
Well, my second name is Maske, right? So it's like Abbas Moske.
Okay, yeah, he's going. It's not bad. I think this is. It's a. He probably is a bit of. He's a bit of your idol, isn't he? He has to be.
Okay, so I read it. So I read his book, and then he stopped being my idol in a way. So it's kind of reversed, where you read a book and then you get inspired, right? Mm-hmm. But I read his book. I think some guy called Ashley Lee or somebody wrote about him.
Yes.
Yeah, but I was like, maybe that's not the way.
No, but what was this?
No, what he's doing is great. I mean,
top 3 points of what you didn't like.
Top 3 points of what I didn't like of him. No,
of
it's
Elon
not.
because of the
Okay,
book.
so
Because of the book.
no, it's not like I didn't like him or anything. It's just that I, you sort of look at the people that you look up to and then try to copy the behaviors, right? So you try to learn or go through the steps that they went so that you could sort of not replicate, but you could learn the habits. And that's what you're doing subconsciously when you hang out with friends, where if you like something about them, you learn from them. I think I did it with you. I did it with Hyunmin as well. um, Probably the closest people I knew in Korea at the time. But if I systematically break his process down and how he does it, it's just too much. I think he has his own way of doing things, and I'm not comparing. There's no way of comparing like at all, but I'm just saying it's not compatible. I live a completely different life
Yeah.
to what he has lived, and
Mhm.
uh, I think yeah. So it's not possible. But I would like to say, if going from goat toilets to goat space, maybe I should name my company Goat
Yeah.
Space
Yeah.
Technologies. What do you think?
Goat space. I would say
Right.
space goat technology.
Space
Because
Goat Technology.
technology.
Go Space Goats Technology. That's actually very difficult to
SGT space goat technology. I
go
think that would
go
be.
Space Goat Technology.
I would invest. I would invest.
You would man. Why would you? But you're not investing in Nepal. Okay, all right.
Why
You should
not? I'm
wait.
investing in Nepal.
I'm sorry. You should invest in Nepal. This is going on record. You should totally invest in Nepal because you're totally not going to lose any money
No,
at
no, no.
all.
Just you guys tell me where
Well,
to put the money in your space goat technology, and I'll put the money there. Or if you now do a brewery called Space Goat Brewery.
well, which country is doing very well with brewery? Bhutan.
Bangladesh. Oh, Bhutan
No,
was that
not
one.
Bangladesh, man.
That's Bhutan you mean. Okay.
Bangladesh. No, not Bangladesh. All of my Bangladeshi friends,
They're
I love
they're
you
they're
guys.
actually
It's I
that's a
have
Muslim
no
country.
disrespect for you guys. I love you, but man, it's not Bangladesh. It's Bhutan. I mean,
Yeah.
Mikeller went there to do a collaborative brewing as well. They're doing craft beer festivals every year. Not here, not this year, unfortunately, but everywhere it seems.
And
And
if I remember correctly, you also used the fact that Bhutan is sending satellites as a reason to get funding from
right,
Nepal.
exactly. So
Yeah.
we are one step behind Bhutan at the moment in case of satellites
In space and beer.
and beer as well, which is the two things that I like, or let's say
Space and
I
beer.
am not specialized, but I am involved in. Because if I say specialized, I think it gives the wrong idea to people that I am an expert in those things, which is
Mm-hmm.
not really.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a wrong idea. Even in Nepal right now, when I'm talking, the more you know it, right? The more you know, the less you know, unfortunately. So you just don't. You realize that
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
much more things to learn. And that's happened with beer too. Like, okay, what is an Italian grape ale? Holy shit! Like, Bavarian lagers. Holy shit! I mean,
But sometimes you just have to go down and just drink the beers and enjoy them.
sure.
I think that's where I'm at.
So,
Kind of.
but where I would like you to invest is if we ever open a brewery in Nepal.
I will invest. I will
Yes.
fly over for the
Yes.
opening day.
Sure.
I can commit to that right now, unless there's
All right.
another corona pandemic. But then you probably should not open doors anyways.
I mean, if the wet markets in some place that we both know are not closing down, because if I
Yeah.
say that country, we have cordial relationship with it. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
you're out of the space
right. We're
space
right in
race.
middle of two big countries, which we have to be absolutely careful not to say any other things.
Yeah,
it's actually getting fun discussion.
yeah.
Craft
I
beer,
mean, that's the point.
space goat.
Yeah. But
But yeah,
yeah,
Bhutan is doing it. Taihu, I don't know what brewery. Taihu Brewery from Taiwan. If maybe you remember it. There is a Taihu, a very famous brewery from Taiwan,
like
and
typhoon.
not Typhoon, dude.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking
All right,
about.
so there's some brewery in Taiwan that's really famous, and then they did a collaborative brewing with
Gotta
Bhutan.
look it up on the phone.
You could, yeah. So just type in probably Bhutan, Mikkeller, Taihu, I don't know. Brewing
Wait, is
that
it a Taiwan brewery?
yeah, it's a Taiwan brew.
Like a
Taiwan.
craft beer or
Craft beer.
okay.
They have a lion, as I remember, lion in the logo. Very popular, in Taiwan, and I've actually looked at some Japanese going there and really enjoying the beers as well. So, yeah.
Taihu Brewing.
Taihu,
That's
right?
what you said though. You said that you actually did say that.
Okay,
Yeah, I think you
because I
said
was
that.
saying Taiwu.
Are you saying Taiwu? It's Taihu. Yeah, but
Taihu.
maybe
Oh,
I don't
Taihu.
know. I don't know how it's pronounced in
All right.
Chinese, so it could be
Uh,
Taiwu.
I like how you said, I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm just being careful here of my
Yeah.
pronunciation.
Oh, well, I don't speak Chinese.
Man, this coffee stout, this
It's an
coffee
IPA.
I don't know what to say, man. Coffee and IPAs don't go well together. Why do they even think about?
But you've been to Minnow. You've been to their brewery. In general, do you find their beer likable or not likable?
Yes and no. Certain beers, yes. Certain beers, no. I've had all their lineup so far. I think they do a pretty decent job sometimes. They do a pretty bad job sometimes. It's hit or miss with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's one of these breweries that's been around for, they're old. They're quite old. They've been around for a long time. They do their beers. It's more of a business. It's not experimental. I remember I really liked, I think, their Yuzu wheat or something like this. Yeah. Yuzu Pale Ale. I don't know what it was. It was back in 2014 that I went there. I was there again last year when I visited you, and you didn't show up. It wasn't.
You know why I didn't show up? What do you mean you didn't show up? You know exactly why.
We drank the same amount. The same amount the night before. I was out. I was drinking beer during the day.
But you didn't have a choice because you had to go and visit because that's you had to wake up and then go somewhere. For me, I was just dying.
Have to. I mean, I was out. I was reading. I had ramen. Very good ramen.
Okay.
But yeah. Kitakushu. There was.
Are you saying you're still cross about that? I kind of feel you're still unhappy that I could not join you the next day after a shitload of drinking the night before. It was not. We're in our 30s right now, and it was not a small amount that we actually did drink that night. And the next day, I was just absolutely knocked out.
Look, that's on you.
Man, it happens every time. It happens every time I'm with you. It's like
I was not even the one pushing for it. You're the one who wanted to keep drinking.
But then, okay, so when is the last time you ever hear anybody coming to Kitakishu? Yeah. So you make it as as memorable and then as forgettable as possible. Right, that's the whole point.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because you could tell people the story about how you chose Kitakishu, and people were really shocked, right? Yeah, that's Kitakishu for you.
It is. Like I remember every time you're meeting people, Japanese people, when traveling Japan, they ask, "Oh yeah, where are you going in Japan?" You say, "Oh yeah, we're going Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Sapporo, Fukuoka,
Yeah.
Kitakyushu." They were like, "Why Kitakyushu?" This is the number one question. They're like, "Oh, okay, good. Why Kitakyushu? Why?"
Why?
Yeah,
Where? Why?
yeah. They're not Korean, but yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
But yeah,
Anyways, yes. So, um, yeah, I don't think I can drink any more of
leave it.
Mino beer, coffee, IPA. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to stout number one. It's called a bicycle coffee stout.
Mhm.
Now,
I'll do the sour, raspberry, dry hop sour.
you know, it's so annoying that you're doing a sour because I wanted a sour. But they didn't have a sour. When they deliver the beer, does it come chilled?
No.
This is probably like very unique to Japan where beers come chilled. And I ordered it in the morning, so I had to sort of drink the beer in the morning because it was chilled.
It was chilled, so you had to drink it. Why? That doesn't make
I
sense.
mean, it's
You could just save it.
no, it's just like it came chilled. So the point is to okay. So the whole point of chilled delivery is when it comes, you get to drink it without having to put it in the fridge. You see my point, right? So when
No, I
it
don't see the
comes,
point at all.
what do you mean you don't see the point? When it comes in the morning, okay, so I made a mistake of telling them to bring it in the morning. It came chilled. I had to open a can because
Just put it
that's
in the fridge. What the hell?
okay. Number one, my fridge is small. Okay, I'm just saying. In Japan,
Yeah.
everything is small. All right.
Mhm.
And number two, it came chilled. So I mean, you paid for the delivery to be chilled. You better drink it. That's my logic.
But
And if you
is there an
cannot see the
option to?
logic behind that, I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say.
But was there an option to have
Italian is like
a
Italians doing
non-chilled
this. Huh?
that you? Was there an option to have not chilled
No,
delivery?
there was no option.
So there's not even an option.
No.
It's just good
And
for
the
the beer,
delivery
I
is
guess.
I don't know how much do you pay for delivery in London?
Zero.
What?
Zero.
Zero? Why?
Because if you buy over a certain amount, in my case from the beer merchant, advertising here, £50 and above, you get it for free, the delivery.
So annoying. You know, I paid 20% for delivery. 20%.
20% of the beer cost.
Yeah,
This
for delivery.
it's like a percent. It's not like a fixed. It's 20%.
No. Okay, so it's a fixed amount, but when you really calculate it, it's 20%. 25.
Okay.
Sorry.
But if you ordered
25.
more, okay, that's a lot. I mean,
What do you
that's
mean? Like
local
what?
beer.
Oh, more?
Yeah, I mean, I order.
I am pouring
Yeah, I
my
order pour. Mine is poured
bicycle coffee stout. Ooh, look at
raspberry,
that.
dry hop, sour, collective arts, Canadian beer, still part of the Commonwealth.
No, dude. Why would you drink sour right now?
Because then it's refreshing, it's nice, it's
I
pleasant.
know that's the whole point. That's why I'm annoyed because I don't get to drink a sour beer at this moment in time. That's the point.
Well, that's on you. You ordered your beers. I didn't order your
But
beers.
they didn't have sour in the website that I tried to order. It just and then you have to pay 25% for shipping. So I'm sorry.
So
Just
I
didn't
would
have
say
sours.
60% of my beer fridge is actually sours. So I have more sours than any other beer style currently.
I mean, yeah, I mean I think you you were the one who showed me what a sour beer tastes like. I didn't like it in the beginning.
The
I thought it
chest,
was just
the Burgon, yeah.
yeah, but it it actually tastes sweet now in many ways. So I think it's more something happened. Like it's almost like eating sushi. For me, as a Nepali, eating raw fish was out of question.
Yeah.
But then you keep eating it enough, and then a switch sort of like, I don't know, somewhere in your brain just turns off and on and turns on, and you start loving it.
This is
Sashimi and sushi, and holy shit, I love it so much. And
this is
that
the
happened
village
with
goat
sour.
going to the space goat again.
Right. So it's either it's village goat, toilet, like very bad toilet goat to be the space
Toilet goat.
technology.
Yeah, now you're eating the sushi, you're drinking the sour beers, you're like going around in space.
Wait, are you trying to take credit for this? It looks like almost you're trying to take credit for.
I'm not taking credit for anything.
Yeah,
I
think
don't have
I kind of
anything to do
feel
with this.
that's kind of like the vibe you're giving me right now.
Are you get? If you want to get that vibe, that's not on me. That's on you.
It's not on you. Okay. Oh
I
wow, this
like
is good. Let
good
me
and
change
bad.
the topic at the moment.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Let me change
You're
the
happy.
topic. This coffee stout smells amazing. So coffee. So I did some research on this. Bicycle coffee. I mean, like, why is it called bicycle?
It's Far East Brewing.
Yeah. So Far East
This
Brewing
is
did a collaborative with this coffee place called Bicycle Coffee.
this
You
is
were about
great.
to say
This is
something.
great. No, this brewery is great. I was there in Tokyo. I had their beer in London in Okonomiyaki restaurant. Found was it for no, it's not Far East. Was it Far East? Anyways, that was a good beer.
Okay.
That's all
So
I
I
can
don't
say.
think it's Far East.
It was Far East.
Okay, so Far East is a good brewery, no doubt about it, I think. But there are better breweries. Be Easy Brewing, I think, by far.
Yeah, I never had their beer, so I don't know.
Be Easy, Shigakogen, better. Bard, I have a Bard beer here. We could try that out as well.
I would say Far East are better than Bard. I went to their brewery as well in Tokyo. Great place. They serve Korean food as well, but much more expensive than it is in Korea. But a great little bar. Was near what's it called, Harajuku? This very crowded street.
But this year I've been trying another craft beer from Japan. Sort of forgot the name right now. Let me just open my Instagram account so I can.
I'm really keen to hit the
Which one?
The Lou.
The Lou.
While you do the research, maybe
Right.
You find it.
I like how you said Lou. Lou is not usually said. Lou is bathroom. So I'm trying to look for the brewery that I really like this year. So all right. So this year I've been really interested in a brewery called Uchu Brewing from Japan. Was really into Be Easy Brewing a year before, and then even before that, I liked Shigakogen and Bard in some ways, because I think some of the people who were trying to introduce me to Japanese beer were focused on those particular beers. But it's not bad Uchu Brewing, what they're doing. And I think this year, that's the beer I usually go to. So what do you think about Far East Brewing Company's collaboration with Bicycle Coffee, right? Bicycle Coffee, stout, Far East. Let me just give it a sniff. Huge coffee, a little sour, interestingly. Earthy, kind of muddy. Very light, but you have huge coffee. I think it's just a very watery Americano. taste, bitter, earthy again.
That's what you get.
Yeah, so I was telling people that the brewery that I like this year is called Uchu Brewing.
Where is it from?
Uchu Brewing. Let me see where that is from. Uchu Brewing Company.
Do you remember this pub you recommended me to go to up in Sapporo?
Yeah, that was a good pub.
Yeah. Now, I had a beer in that pub.
Kalahari.
Yeah, Kalahari. That was the name of the pub. Great place. Shout out to them. From the onsen area in Hokkaido, very famous one. Do you remember what's it called? I think it's Noboribetsu. There was a hazy IPA, a double hazy IPA from there. That was really, really good.
Hokkaido itself.
Yeah, but I could not find any information. It's the name is just in Japanese. I could not find the brewery or any kind of English name. So I don't know. But they made a very good beer.
Okay. Did you try North Island beer? They're also Hokkaido.
Was that in Sapporo? I think I went to some of the places you recommended.
Yeah, so it's North Island, right? So Hokkaido itself is North Island, so they named it North Island beer.
Yeah.
So brewery in 2017, brewing started with soil leveling with heavy equipment. This is a English translation from Japanese. Hopushu brewing license. Okay, so they don't tell me exactly where they're from. Let me see. Turns out they make their own hops as well. But it's not clear exactly which region Uchu Brewing is from.
Okay.
All Japanese.
But they make good beer, is what you're saying.
So I went to this place in Kyushu during the New Year's. I was traveling around Kyushu area. I met this really interesting guy in a pub. He owns the pub itself. You know, I got to meet his family as well, and he was introducing me all these beers from Japan. And funny enough, he also had the beer from Wild Waves. Do you know?
Yes, I've had it several times.
Right. So Soleim beer. Right. So he had it, and it was his first time trying out a sour beer from Korea, and it was good. It's good. Really good.
I think it's a decent beer.
I mean, not just decent. After, let's say, trying out a couple of beers, sour beers, and I went back and tried it. Really? Just decent? You would rate it at just decent?
Yeah, but I have a lot of exposure to good sour beers these days. I drink a lot of sour beers. I like it. It's a good beer. But I mean, you wrote this Facebook post or whatever, and you tagged me, and you were like, "This is really great beer." Then I'm thinking you have a bit of a shortage of sour beers. Yeah, this is a good beer, especially by Korean sour standards. But
Really? Okay.
I mean, I'm drinking something right now. I think this is. I didn't get to talk about this beer yet. The raspberry dry hopped sour. It's very pleasant. It's pretty much like a sour raspberry jam.
I'm not sure. It's not that I haven't had enough sour beers, but maybe that batch was really good. I don't know.
Could be. Everything is also
and also
situational.
depends, because he had the bottle for a certain amount of time, so you just don't know if it was properly aged, or because sour beers do age, and then you just don't know the amount of time to age it. So, but that
I had
was
it.
just, man, I drank it and my eyes just lit up at the time. I was like, and then he was like, holy shit. Japanese guy was like, holy shit, what is this sour beer? Like, wow, really? Like, he's the owner of the pub, right? So, and we both were like, it was not even like Oh, I like it, and I influence his perception of it. It was
Yeah.
just like momentarily instantaneous, where we both looked at each other and thought, "Yeah, this is a really good beer."
Hmm.
So maybe you even had recently. Who knows? So if you do go back to Korea,
No,
I
I
don't
had
know
it. I had it
when.
when I was in Korea
When
recently. When I
recently, really?
was in
The
January.
bottle conditioned.
Not I had it at Hyunmin's pub. Now you can
Ah,
tell maybe he doesn't serve the beer good enough. That would
no,
be
I'm not saying that. When did I
that's
say
not
that?
what you say. I
I
don't
didn't
know,
say,
like
dude.
your facial expression.
I never said that. You just brought it out. You're
Okay,
putting
okay,
words in my mouth. You know that,
yeah.
right?
So
Come
what
on.
do you want to say?
What? Uh, don't put the light. You put the spotlight on me,
Okay,
man.
but
We're just talking about the beer and I think what I'm trying to say is I disagree in a way that you think it's a mediocre beer.
I said it's a decent beer. That's not the same as mediocre.
For you,
Decent
decent
means good.
is mediocre for you.
No, no,
You
no,
know
no.
that,
Decent.
and I
No,
know
no,
it,
no,
dude.
no, no.
Dude, okay, when was the first time we met? 2012, right? So we have known each other for 8 years. And when you say mediocre, I know. Sorry, when you say decent, I know it's
No.
mediocre. Yeah.
Decent means good. Decent is better than okay. You got okay, you got decent, you got like solid, then you got
Really?
good. Solid can even be better than good. I don't know. I'm not sure. But mediocre is bad. That's
All
bad
right.
to me. Yeah.
All right. All right. All right.
Maybe
All right.
if I called a beer mediocre, it's not a beer I want to drink.
All right. All right. Now
A decent
I'm
beer I would drink.
it's good to know that after 8 years, I'm learning new things from you. That
Dude,
about you.
8 years.
Yeah.
Most of those 8 years, you've been shooting goats into space. I've been not shooting goats into space, but not being close to you at least. That's for sure.
You're going back to Korea, by the way, right?
We'll see. Yeah, right now I'm working a lot with Korea, which means a lot of emails, calls, texts from midnight to 8 in the morning. Yeah, but yeah, it could be potentially that I move back to Korea.
Right. 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 Right.
And then I have to change my beer habits again because back to the Korean juice.
Well, it's. Are you underestimating the Korean
I've been
scene
there.
at the moment?
No, I've been there recently, and the beer scene is dying,
Oh,
unfortunately.
really? Wow. Because there was a
It's
point where it was vibrant. Things
yeah.
were happening.
When we were still there, it was vibrant. No, for real. Like when we were there, it was exciting. It was growing. It was developing. You had a lot of new exciting stuff week from week. But now, I mean, people are saying, for example, we're commonly done. That's dead. And it was hard to find beer places. I mostly went to Hyunmin's place, to be honest, and he's serving just the same beers all the time. Yeah, he's more into other stuff these days. Wine from South Africa, which is great stuff. It's really good wine, and food. They do some really good food there as well.
Mm. Mm. I heard that place has really changed from the time I
Yeah,
left.
it looks super posh and trendy now. Like somewhere you take like your girl or something if you lived in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Not somewhere you go with your friends to have a beer. That's for sure.
But you could still have a beer
Oh
if you
yeah, I
wanted
mean,
to.
I have a lot. I had a lot of beers there. So
How's he doing, Yenmin?
I mean, I think he's looking into the next steps of his life, kind of expansion, maybe doing something else than working the restaurant itself, kind of like just owning it and doing other stuff in the background,
Sure.
which is understandable. I mean, it must be exhausting. I
I
think
mean,
also
it's a
like
tough job. It's a tough job. It's not that I didn't get to experience it as well. I did.
oh, I can
It's,
imagine.
yeah. You think doing PhD or studying is difficult. you start making pizzas for like unlimited pizza night. Man, that night was crazy. Unlimited pizza night for 8,001, $8, unlimited pizza. Are you kidding me? That's what we had.
You're lucky you didn't have me there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
actually maybe not lucky because I would be buying a lot of beer on top of that pizza.
Sure. So that was the point, right? So you would serve more pizzas so people would drink more, but then it was overwhelming how many orders it just came, and we just like running out of dough.
But that's the
and
thing, right?
It's crazy.
Like you eat a pizza much faster than you make the pizza. That's the number one issue, right?
Yeah, that was because okay, so I think there was some rule like you had to order a certain amount of beers like that, but yeah, Koreans were just gulping, gulping with the word, devouring the pizza very fast. And we had an oven. I think it was this oven that didn't produce, like, it would take some time to make the pizza. It wasn't a fire oven pizza where you put it for a minute or two and just take it out. And it was just taking 8 minutes to make pizza. And we had like shitload of orders coming in, and it was just crazy. I loved it though. I loved the pressure of it. I just realized if there was a second life to what I did, it would be in the kitchen.
Pizza maker. You would be a pizza maker.
Yeah, not just pizza maker. Okay, pizza maker. Yes, I would like. So I think in a way, I don't know. It's weird, but I like having a big kitchen. I like cooking.
Yeah.
I like feeding people. I think you do that too, because I saw that too. Like, and then I saw that with Hyunmin too. I probably picked it up from you guys because we would do turns where Hyunmin would have a house party at his place, and then I would have my party at my place.
You never had a party at your place.
Come on, we had the rooftop party. Remember?
One time.
Okay.
I had to climb the walls.
No, that was one time. But then second time, you brought remember the Jujutsu friend who got like very man. There are many times, not just one or two or three or four. You just don't remember. That's the problem. So there were many times when you did come.
One time we barbecued at the top.
You did come.
And you idiots, you made me fucking climb the walls of a dormitory building. That's not like 10 stories high.
You did not climb.
I climbed up.
You came from the easy way. Remember? And that's how we realized.
No.
That's how we realized. That's how we realized.
Yes, I found it when I walked down because I was like, I don't want to climb this shit down when I'm drunk because I'm gonna die.
Wait. So you did climb up.
I climbed up.
Well, congratulations! I should give you a certificate of building climbing Sherpa.
Give me like a
That's pretty good. Yeah, I saw you. Maybe I saw you climb, but wait. What you're claiming is that I had one party. That's what you're claiming, right? Man,
with me,
I had multiple parties with you, just that you don't remember.
No, I remember the one party we went up there, climbed this shitty thing. We also climbed the ladder to the really top.
Are you saying your Jujutsu friends did not remember that? Where your friends got really drunk and like was really afraid to go down?
Exactly.
Remember that?
This I remember. Yeah. This I remember. This is exactly the one I remember.
So I have to remind you of everything that happened in that BK International house. You see my point.
So okay. Time in the BK International.
All right. Let's say probably I was the one who was doing the least parties. You were also the one who doing the most parties, of course, right? It's because we had like multiple instances where police would come.
That was pretty much my place was pretty much a party house. Yes.
Okay. So that's what you want. Yes, your house was a party house, Johannes.
That's where we wanted
I'm
to
going
go.
on
Yes,
record and
yes.
saying, Johannes, your house was the party house of soul.
Well, the way you used it,
The most
the way you
party
used
house
it, that
ever.
definitely, that
What do you
definitely
mean
is.
I used it?
Let's not get into details, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean I used it? There were a lot of people who used it. All right.
That's
I
fair.
did. I was accused of many things there, which I did not do.
No, you admitted to many things as well.
What did I? What? We're not going on record here.
We're not.
Because,
Let's get off that
change
topic.
of topic. Change of topic. All right.
We still have this Imperial Stout to manage, which
Right.
is, I guess, the final beer.
Holy shit! I think I have to be a little quiet on the mic because this could be quite an adventure on the air.
Stop.
Because every time you listen, that's gonna be a problem.
We're not
the volume can
anywhere
go down
on the internet.
Silence.
Jesus fucking Christ. It was too much.
Wait, what? You finished your beer? That was fast.
Yeah, I finished my beer.
That's because you're forcing me to talk all the time, dude.
I did my fair share of talking.
You do
just
know,
like to talk. You just like to talk.
Wait. In Netflix, do you know there's this TV series called Brew Brothers these days?
Oh yeah, I know this series. Is it good? Did you watch it?
It's kind of childish in many ways. It's kind of funny. You have a moment where you laugh out loud. Very childish. I don't know. I'm really surprised.
Why is it childish?
Some of the jokes they do. Just watch it.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Tiger King. I thought that was coming. Tiger King. That's what I thought was coming.
What's a Tiger King?
You never watched Tiger King?
The guy who owns tigers and stuff.
Yeah, that's like just very popular on Netflix these days.
Oh yeah.
It's actually, I think at this point, the biggest documentary of all time. That's what they say.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
do you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting characters. So
why don't we have a documentary on you?
Well, this is the documentary on me. This is like episode 2.
Episode 2. What did we talk about in episode 1? Like, did we get progressively
drunk? Yes.
What's the better way for drunk? Like, did we progressively drink more and get into the vibe? I think that's the better way of saying drunk, Johannes.
I would say we're more drunk. We're more vibed now than we were then. I'm not sure, but we were sharing the beers. We were sharing the beers, but there's no sharing now. I mean, I just look at the lineup we had, and I'm thinking to myself, imagine if we had the lineup we're having today.
All right.
Back then, we would kill for it. We would kill for that. We were drinking.
But I was not in a position where I could comment too much because I was still learning.
Yeah.
I think it was 2012 that I started, or 2011 that I really got to know.
That's the story of me taking you and Yunhan to this beer chango, whatever it's called. You know?
Yeah. They had this place called like World Beer Place where you could just go and pick up beers from the fridge, right? Yeah. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did, and we had the beers.
Yeah. So there were some embarrassing moments there where we were not sure what was a good beer, and obviously you being you with your attitude. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Well,
but yeah, it's fun days.
I don't make any apologies.
But I unfortunately, Johan didn't pick it up. Well, I think you failed in that reason, that
because
area.
he just disappears when he gets drunk. He just walks away. But I met him more recently than you in Seoul.
How's he doing?
I think he's doing fine. He's I should not talk about his personal life, but
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
okay, you know. Okay.
Yes, I know.
He's
doing better
he
than
has
before.
in some kind of job that seems okay, because you got this other guy, Yonil. You remember this guy?
Oh, Yonil. Yeah.
I also met him.
Wait, Yonil
Great guy.
was the
Well,
okay. So after you left, it was who was the editor in chief?
Songuk.
All right.
Sunny.
Right. I see. Yeah. Right. So what about him? What about the guy? How's he doing? Yonil.
So apparently Yunhan and Yonil, they both work in journalism. So the two people who work in journalism.
Right. So you met Yonil as well?
Yeah, of course. I met all the people. I met Suhyun. I met didn't meet Songok actually, but
Sujin as well?
No, not in touch with her. No.
Okay. All right. Change of topic. So, we're gonna drink the next beer?
You already ready? I am ready for next beer as well.
All right, just start pouring your next beer. Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your Imperial Stout. What are we talking about?
Okay, this is the first time I'm having Bard's Imperial Stout.
Okay.
All right, so it's called Dark Sky Imperial Stout. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, it's
Dark Sky.
Really good.
Why? What's mean? Weird.
I don't know why you like making those voices. It's
Dark Sky. Johannes.
Yeah, I get it. It's Dark Sky.
Right. Okay.
I'm gonna say two things. This is mine. There's a moon. It's called Pojala Talve.
What does Pojala mean? What's the meaning of Pojala?
I don't know. I'm not Estonian. It's rum and bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Baltic porter. The second thing I have to talk to you about is there's wax on the top.
Right.
I am quite wiped, as you expressed it earlier. And I'm not sure how I'm going to get this thing off without hurting myself or spilling the beer.
Can you please document that as you're doing it?
We are recording this as of now. Yes. I have an open. I'm going to start with this knife part here, because I tried to open it straight. It did not work. I was hoping that would work. Did not.
We should have done a Facebook Live for this.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. I'm starting to cut the wax.
Oh, okay. Man, don't cut yourself, huh?
Yeah,
holy shit. Blood is gonna ooze out.
Yeah, but if it's the hands, it's okay. If it's my face, it's pretty bad. Especially because these days.
Face is not gonna
like. Yeah, but I mean,
no, dude, I think you're thinking worst case. It's like not even pandemic level worst case. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hit your face. My God, Johannes.
Okay, but the hand is okay. It usually bleeds.
Yeah, hand, you might cut yourself. What's it like?
Okay, I think I got a bit of a wax thing. Is that the Dark Sky, or are you still on the coffee stout there?
Finish the bicycle.
Okay, something is happening here.
So I can hear the chiss sound.
Yeah, you heard it.
Yeah, I can give you the sis. Oh, shit. Okay.
Success. I am very impressed by myself.
Congratulations, Johannes. You have won the next trip to Goat Space Island.
I would like to go there. Maybe not. Actually, it sounds a bit creepy. Okay.
It's very difficult to manage the distance between the webcam, mic. You see how
I did not try
skillfully I've been doing that.
So I can see you are using a Russian River brewing glass. Was that acquired when you visited the Russian River brewing
Yes.
place
Russian
in
River.
California?
Yeah. That place was packed up, man. It was difficult to get in the first place. Even in I think it was not even a weekend, And that place is making money, big time.
Did you have good beer there, or were you disappointed?
No, it was okay. So, all right. So if you hype it up too much, of course you're going to be disappointed because, man, if you were in, let's say, early 2000, it's mind blowing. But then you are in 2019.
It's not mind blowing.
Of course, you had better beers, and I think you just it's like a pilgrimage. You go to a place, you respect the place because they did what they did.
Yeah.
And I had the tasting set and the other, my brother who I went with, he wasn't drinking too much, so I was the one getting hammered. And I think I had the best time ever there because my brother also he got drunk, so I had never seen him drunk, so it was kind of fun. Anyways,
But
yes,
it's a glass with a story. It's a glass with a story. I had a bit of wax in my beer I had to pick out. Just want to point that out. Bit of a hazard if you ever had this beer. The bit of wax came with it into the beer.
What? Did you put the wax in your beer?
Oh, I got a bit of wax.
How could you?
Not intentionally.
How did you have? Did you pick it up and just like?
I used
like the guy who did like
space coach powers.
Right. Exactly.
But
so
wait.
Beer.
So cheers. Wait. Cheers. So I also have to mention my glass. So
what's your glass story?
So it says this glass I'm choosing for this BeerCast called Love Beer London.
Love Beer London.
It's from a beer festival that took place on Valentine's Day this year, and that's where this glass
and
is
you
from.
Were there for the beer festival and Valentine's Day. I was quarantining.
Valentine's, February 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're quarantining. Okay. I was having beer, so.
Fuck.
Exactly.
All right. There you go.
Okay. Tell me about your Imperial Stout. Now I want to hear.
Cinnamon. Vanilla. I think huge vanilla. You can literally, it's almost like biting into those vanilla, whatever you call, long. When they show the vanilla photo, they have this long strands. So it feels like you're biting on them.
So what it describes it as, it says a rum and bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Baltic Porter brewed with coconut, vanilla, and cardamom. Now, what do I get from the beer? Yeah.
Cardamom. White cardamom or?
They don't specify what color of the cardamom. Yeah. Do I get vanilla? Yes. Do I get coconut? Yes. Probably a bit of cardamom as well. Don't get much of the barrel aging, unfortunately. And that's what I would like to feel more of. You know what I really like in my stouts?
What do you like?
Imperial stouts?
Yeah.
Soy sauce. Soy sauce.
You know what? Interestingly, I had a couple of my Japanese friends try out stout and Imperial stouts. Majority would say soy. They're like, this is like tasting soy sauce. But unlike you, they didn't like it.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Because okay, so what is that you like that there's soya in your beer?
It's like this deep kind of like umami-like flavor that you get, and I like that. Where else do I get soy sauce? Interesting point. Pepsi Max gives
What?
me soy
Really?
sauce vibes. It gives me soy sauce vibes, which is why I like it. Yeah, it does.
Seriously?
And
But I never thought you were like a soy boy.
I'm a soy boy. That
You're a
sounds
soy boy?
extreme. That sounds like some kind of like bigotry right there.
Yeah.
Uh,
You are a soy boy
soy
looking
boy.
for
Yeah.
looking
Don't
into
get
a
too much
stout.
soy. Don't get too much soy in this, boy.
The funny thing is, once Japanese were telling me that they got that soy taste,
Mm.
I was tasting it too at
Yeah,
certain point. But
but
it was
that's the
very
thing,
difficult
right?
for me to actually think about it before they said that, and I was really shocked when when they actually told me that, and then I tried to taste it, and I'm like, yeah, that actually does taste like soy.
Do you have any soy in your current beer?
No, unfortunately. It's a little dark. I would say more like oyster sauce.
Mhm.
If I had to
So,
be really specific, oyster sauce, because I use quite a lot of like Thai oyster sauce these days when I'm
mhm,
making fried rice. But so yeah, in a way, because oyster sauce also brings a bit of umami. You could
exactly, yeah.
actually argue that umami flavor is there. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. No, but I think it's interesting because I think you wouldn't usually find people describing it as soy sauce flavor
No,
in the West. But
unless you have a background in Asian cuisine.
exactly, and I feel it strongly in certain ways, even in the Pepsi, as I said. So,
Pepsi
uh,
Max, really? What is
yeah,
Pepsi Max? Well, I've never heard of
it's
Pepsi
like a
Max.
sugar-free Pepsi.
Oh yeah.
Got a bit of soy sauce in there for sure, yeah.
So something similar to Cola Zero, Coca-Cola Zero, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
interesting enough, I made this thing called ketchup, but like Indonesian ketchup manis, which is pretty much palm sugar and soy sauce. You boil it together. That tastes exactly like I would like a stout to taste. And if I make a stout again, an imperial
Mm.
stout, I would put that stuff in there.
You would
Palm
actually
sugar and
put
soy sauce. I
what?
would put it in there, yeah. Palm sugar and soy sauce, the ketchup sauce.
You would put soy sauce in your stout.
Yeah. I would put the syrup that I made out of soy sauce and palm sugar into the stout, yes.
Because the syrup, you mean because you're adding sugar to the soy, and of course you heat it up, right? And then you
Yeah,
mix
you
it up.
heat it up, it becomes kind of like a thick
Mm,
sauce,
mm, mm,
syrup.
mm.
If you'd like, you can
And
put that into the
you're
fermentation.
saying that the Indonesians do that?
Yeah,
Ah, so what's the name
ketchup,
of
manis.
ketchup? What?
Manis.
Manis.
Yeah,
I have to ask my Indonesian friends here. Okay.
go for it.
Manis.
Ask them what it is, then tell them, did you ever taste this in a beer?
But what kind of sugar do you use? You could
Palm
use
sugar.
a palm sugar. Oh,
I've used palm sugar, but you can probably use other sugars. That's not the issue. But
right. Okay. So any types of sweetening thing along with
Mhm.
soya. So it's a sweet soya sauce, which is kind of like I've actually never tried sweet soy because most of the soy is just like salty for me.
And they also put some boil it together with some spices like garlic, ginger, star anise. You can do whatever you want. I would say personally, but yeah,
So
I wouldn't put garlic in my beer. That's
keep talking about the soy sauce. since I have to go to the loo, as you call it.
Yeah.
We call it the bathroom, toilets.
Or the toilet.
Charpi in Nepali. Yeah, whatever.
Go.
But keep talking about whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll describe this beer a bit. Just not sure what to say. That's where I'm stuck. It's actually really easy to drink considering it's 11.5%. Definitely don't feel the alcohol. Definitely don't feel the barrel aging either, which can be seen as positive and negative. I wouldn't say it was a especially expensive barrel aged beer, but in general, I do like the Puebla stuff. I like their stouts. I like for the office, I buy the Pilsner, the lager beer that they make, as one of my staples. So it's a cool Estonian brewery. It used to be more unknown. Now it's really big, I think, which is cool. I like it. Topic was soy sauce. Don't get soy sauce in this one, but would like to get some soy sauce in this one. It's not poured in there, but yeah. So yeah, I have this other glass here. It's my water glass. It's has some figures on it. It's monster, skeleton, Superman, eye, with a nose. He's thinking about the nose. It's from Collective Arts Brewing that I received with the beers I ordered. I think I had one of their beers. This guy is working out in the gym. Blue and pink. The raspberry dry hopped sour. They actually put raspberry puree in this one. They have water, barley malt, wheat malt, raspberry puree. You got hops, you got flaked oats, you got yeast, and they also write it in French because it's Canadian. But yes.
Are you saying that when you order beer, you get free glass?
Yeah, I got with this one. I got this glass. I got this glass. It's just these icons on a normal glass of water.
It's actually very similar to the glass I'm using, but it's more curvy. Yours is more, yeah. It's like this for you. It's more curvy in my case.
This one is a bit more sharp. Yeah.
But it's interesting that you actually like soya. Funny enough, that's opposite in the case of Japanese.
No, but I mean, I don't know what kind of people you're drinking beers with, but maybe they going to drink a beer, they're probably expecting something like, Asahi.
No, okay, so you're right in a way that yes and no. They've never actually tried craft beer. So you're right in the way that they have probably tried Asahi. But at the same time, it's just an honest opinion, which was really interesting for me. And I didn't actually judge. I just took it. No, okay, so that also doesn't mean like they don't like soya. I don't know. They should have liked soya because they have been growing up with that sauce.
Yep.
Yeah, right? Like throughout your life, that actually reminds you of your childhood and whatever. That should have been better and should have actually, let's just say, their palate should have been closer to the palate that they have been used to, but unfortunately no.
Yeah, but I can understand if you don't look for that in a beer. But honestly, I'm very excited and surprised and happy that you have other people recognizing these flavors in beers. Because I feel like most of the time, I would say soy sauce. There's no one who agrees with me in the room. They're like, dude, there's no soy sauce in beers.
That's probably because they haven't had a shitload of soy sauce before. or they just don't have that reference point.
Or
And
for the matter of the fact, even liking the fact that there's soy sauce flavor in the beer. Because I would say soy sauce in a positive way. There's soy sauce, I like it. And then people would be like, you would say it's soy sauce, they would expect it to be in a negative way. But for me, it's really, really positive.
But those are probably people who have not been to Asia too much. Would you say that is correct?
I would say that's correct.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this beer some big credits. I think it doesn't really taste as advertised, but it's so easy to drink. Like I'm almost done, and it's 11.5% strong. I don't know how strong. How strong is your beer?
10%.
Yeah, it's going down way easier than it should.
So that also means it's sort of hiding the alcohol. It's easier to drink. Yeah.
Zero alcohol. I drink it. It's almost find it like a stout that I would. If I guessed, if someone gave this to me.
It's a good brewery. I've had their beers before. It's a good brewery, and coming from Estonia, yeah. So I would not expect to have good beers coming out from Estonia for some reason. I don't know why, but
well, Bhutan has good breweries, so what country can't have?
I've had, because in Korea I had an Estonian friend. I think, do you know? Probably Anna. Did you know her?
Her name
Maybe
is
you
Anna.
don't know Anna.
No, I don't know.
Anastasia. That's her full name.
No.
But yeah, so probably you just don't know her. But she was like, in Seoul you had 5 Estonians, and she was one of them. So
don't have any Estonian friends, but except the beer.
Yeah, they're pretty proud of their country, by the way. They say they have faster internet than Korea, and I'm like, really? Wow, that's impressive. Okay, good to know.
But on the other, let's not get into politics. But beer-wise,
good.
If I drank
best beer. That's the best beer today.
No, I'm gonna give it to the
sour.
They're sour. You expected it. The raspberry dry hop sour, really pleasant to drink.
I think it's just probably because that's the style you like.
Yeah.
I think it's very biased to say what beer you like.
Of course, but that's the thing. It's a subjective art.
Very subjective.
I mean, you drink beers. What about you? Where's your favorite beer today?
Mino Coffee IPA was okay, interesting, but I like the fact that they try to experiment, but sometimes experiments can go very wrong. This one, I thought it was Galaxy hops. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hops. None of them was Galaxy.
Yeah.
That also shows that probably I shouldn't be guessing hops, but at the same time, maybe I did not like it, right? Saison, very new, just recently released. I would personally not drink this again. It's too light for me.
I do really like the design of the label, though. It's really nice.
So you liked it? Or
the frog? What? The frog
okay.
And the yellow and the city, yeah.
Okay.
It looks nice.
All right. So it's definitely colorful, but I wish the beer was more colorful.
You wish the beer was a better beer, yeah.
Yeah. This was an interesting collaboration between Far East and Bicycle Coffee.
Okay.
Because I think definitely you can taste a lot of that earthiness, the coffee, it almost looked like a very bitter Americano. Good, but watery for me. Mm-hmm. So
it is the dark sky.
Unfortunately fortunate winner. would be the dark sky because I'm getting a lot of vanilla in this one, which I sort of associate with imperial stouts because
Victory at Sea.
yeah, Victoria C was one of my first imperial stouts, which
Same
was
here.
using a lot of those vanilla pods, and yeah, definitely this is very similar to that.
Another one of my early ones, which is currently on the way here, being delivered, the Beer Geek Vanilla Shake, bourbon barrel aged, also very
Mikkeller.
strong on the vanilla. Mikkeller, exactly. The one of these early imp stouts, I just thought that's amazing. Yeah.
So can you go over all your beers and just tell me what you think about each beer and what you liked?
Okay, we started with the Unity. It was a Saison. I said that is my favorite style. When I drink a good Saison, I would say that tops any other beer I could have. This is not one of them. It was a bit too light, a bit too much on the sour, fruity side. It's not what I wanted to Saison. Was it a good beer to drink still? Yes. Decent. Not mediocre, but decent.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a little bit left of this one. Point that out.
It was sour, right? You said a little bit sour.
It was. I mean, it's too sour for a Saison. It's not as sour as this beer. Now you could judge it on the way you taste it or the style you want it to be. You got this Session Pale Ale, the Siren Yulu, brewed with Earl Grey, lemon zest. It's 3.6%, so it's a light beer to drink.
Earl Grey. I'm not a big fan of tea on beers, but still, did you think it was okay?
In general, I've had this beer before. I've said, not a big fan. Yeah. This time I was much better than any other time. I don't know if it's because I've been drinking too much tea lately and I relate to the tea flavors. It has a nice citrusy, a bit of deeper tea flavors. I like this, yeah. We moved on to the invoice me for the microphone. The microphone I bought, walked out, said invoice me. Citra and Mosaic is juicy, it's hazy. I'd love to go for a barbecue drinking this beer. I'm telling you that much.
All right. So
It's
when
good beer.
you're having something smoky, you would like to pair it up with it.
I think it's a very easy beer to drink. It is the hazy style. I'll tell you one thing though, is taking a break in this review of these beers. I am longing for a good East Coast IPA. I want to go back to that kind of IPA. Drink that for a little bit. It's a lot of this. I mean, it's New England is also East Coast, but you know what I'm talking about. Dogfish Head, 90-minute IPA, things like this.
Right.
We moved on to what I picked as the best beer of the night, the raspberry dry hopped sour, Canadian. I like it. I like sours. What can you say?
Do you think it's slightly biased in a way that you
Yeah, it is. I mean, everything
prefer
I say
sours
is
in the beginning? Yeah.
I mean, if I gave these beers to any other person, they probably give a different order, right? Like this has the raspberry puree. Very, very, very nice to drink. I liked it a lot. We ended with the Imperial Stout. Has a bit of black and pink. It's a good beer.
So this is your second favorite in a way that some wax went into your beer as well. Do you think the wax played a factor in the taste profile?
To open. I am almost done. This is 11.5%. I am running through it like I'm playing Mario Kart. This is everything I have left. The bottle is empty. Yeah.
Yeah.
After this, I'm probably too drunk to be on any kind of video recording.
It's going to go on Facebook very soon. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's a good thing I was going to say we don't have a lot of mutual friends, but actually we do. So, yeah, it's all good.
All good.
But no one is going to watch. This is like 2 hours of recording. No one is going to ever watch.
I'm going to, I think the last part, I could just cut it down, obviously.
Don't
but the 2 2 hour of this video is going to go online, of course. I'm going to record it. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to have it on a YouTube link so that you can share it with whoever you want to share it, obviously.
Nobody.
But it's kind of fun to look at it in the future, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
did the same. We did the same with our previous podcast, where, you know, I think I was completely newbie at the time, and so much has happened since then. And
So
I think it's
yeah.
okay. So I'm just gonna give you credit in that it's all because of you.
The space goats.
Space goats. Yep.
No, but I mean, a catalyst for this, even I think this is BeerCast Part 2 happening. I watched that first podcast. There was no video back then, but the recording of it. I think it's actually the first time in my life that I ever actually listened to the whole thing. I listened to it together with my girlfriend, and
did she enjoy it, or what did
she enjoyed 90% of it.
90%. Well, that's pretty
90.
impressive. Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. And she said you should do that again. And I wrote that in our infamous Kakao chat. You, me, Hyunmin, and Suyan.
Right.
And we're here now. We recorded about 2 hours of footage.
Yeah.
Of us getting drunk over beer again, not the same beers. Yeah.
Right.
That's the middle of the day for me.
It would be nice if we had the same beers and we could sort of compare.
Beer cost free. We at the same place again.
But what what the beauty of the first BeerCast was, it was just trash talk, because we were just attacking the beers. And I would like to do something similar where we buy similar beers. For example, I'm sure you can buy Budweiser, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's obvious, and I think I'm too nice these days to trash talk things.
No, dude, I don't think you're too nice. Are you sure you're too nice?
Oh, thank you.
No, really?
I don't know. I'm much more like,
What?
like mellow.
You're mellowed out? What? That's not the Johannes I know.
I'm like,
Johannes was like, in your face, I just don't care what you think. I will tell you how I think. Guy.
Yeah, but that's
guy?
But I am still like that. But with beer, it's kind of like the people are making the beer. There's different.
What you're saying is that you like lagers. That's what you're saying. You're saying that you're trying to become somebody like my brother, because my brother says these days, Abbas, like, I used to like craft beer, but I like lagers, like just the normal lagers.
Yeah, but that's partly true, partly not true.
Maybe that's, that could happen because you're exposed to all these beers, and suddenly maybe you don't want those beers.
But that's the thing. I don't drink a lot of imp stouts anymore. Is lager my favorite style? No, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. Do I go out and drink more lagers than before? Well, these days not, because I'm locked down. But in general, yes, I drink more lagers than I used to, and I do appreciate a good lager. However, I'm way more into both sours and IPAs than lagers. I mean,
IPAs. That's interesting. Why IPAs? Because I think, in a way, most people seem to have moved on from IPAs into, let's say, a hazy IPA. Okay, so bitter, as somebody in our group chat did say, bitter.
When I say IPAs, it includes hazy IPAs as well.
Hazy IPAs, okay. Yeah.
And I forgot to mention the one style that I really do like, the Saison. Finding good Saison, they're out there. There's a lot of them. That's the beer you want to drink. That is the beer you want to drink right now.
But one thing I really wanted to know your opinion was on not using hops, because recently I heard from Hyunmin was that Koreans were not using hops in their beers. What's that about?
I would say that a beer has some cornerstones. That includes hops. I'm sure you can brew something without hops, and it could taste really good.
But that was the fundamental sort of the ingredient for beer,
Yeah,
right? You didn't
exactly.
have hops before.
You got water, you got yeast, you got the grains, you got the hops, then you got
Yeah.
a beer. Yeah, you can add stuff to that.
Sure.
You take out the hops, is it
Mm.
still a beer? Maybe
Yeah.
you could call it still a beer. Yeah, but you have, because you have stuff like makgeolli. You have makgeolli in Korea, right? I would call this a rice beer. That's what I would call it, because it's, you cook the grain, you steam the rice. That's the same as you do. You have
Wow.
malted barley. You boil the barley,
Right.
and you ferment it with water. Essentially, it's the same thing. There's no hops in a makgeolli, but
Okay.
I think you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Beer. Okay, so the way I understood beer was the process. The process of doing it was beer. And even if it doesn't include hops, if you follow the process of how you would brew it, it
Yeah.
would be called beer. Is
No,
that
I
correct?
agree. I agree,
Mm.
because traditional beer, like you go 5,000 years back, there was probably not hops in beer. I really gotta hit the loo. I'll be back in 30
Or,
seconds. 1 minute, 2 minutes
all
tops.
right, just hit the loop. So the beer I'm drinking right now is called a Dark Sky Imperial Stout by Bard Brewing. I've heard a lot about Bard Brewing. Um, went to a couple of places where they did have the beer, and I did try it, but never in a way that I would just really single it out. And today's beer of the night has been Bar Brewing's Imperial Stout, Dark Sky. A lot of vanilla in it. Still gives me that bitter sort of finish where I am sort of, all that saliva is still coming out. Kind of weird to say that, but I love it. It's good. Mm. I can feel the alcohol as it's warming up in my hand. It's definitely not something that you can drink really quickly. Um, yeah, so you know, Japanese associate for some reason imperial stouts to soya, but the moment they told me that it does sort of taste like soya, I have been thinking maybe it does, and I'm not sure why that is the case. It's kind of interesting. I want to see what the process of soya is, and then I want to see what this process of making an imperial stout is, and trying to understand why it does taste like soya. So what I'm trying to say is, Johannes,
It's,
you know, I mean, the reason, okay, there should be a reason why it does taste like soya, right? Why do you think so?
but
Is
you
it
have a
because of the
lot of,
process itself, or
okay, so for soy, because you're talking about soy sauce, I think
right?
the way to make soy sauce is that you ferment soybeans, and there's something that you get out of it, which is soy sauce.
Mm,
I'm gonna go on record and say that is at least one of the methods for making soy sauce. So there's a fermentation process.
sure.
Now, if you have certain molds, you just hit your mic while drinking. If you have certain malts that you ferment, you could probably get a similar flavor out of it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like bitter sour at the end. Um, yeah. Bard beer seems to win tonight's beer award. For
I
you,
gotta
it's the
give this
sour.
beer more credit to the Imp Stout. I'm giving the sour. The sour is still number one. This name stout, it's going down so easily. I'm almost done. That's a really strong beer. It's not giving me a big shock, as in the imp stouts I would used to drink, and I would have like this is amazing kind of experience.
Sure.
But it's probably one of the easiest one I've ever drunk in my life. It tastes very good. Love beer London. That's what I'm doing. I'm in London. I'm loving beer. Yeah.
It's, I've known you for a very long time, but it's kind of fascinating that we still sort of continue to our lives, and at the same time we're exploring beers in our own area, which is very, very unique, I would say, because I'm not sort of hiding the fact that I did learn the whole process of brewing. I think I learned it from somebody else first, but the beer, what it tastes like, was from you. But I went through this own journey where I learned more, and I sort of understood, and I have my own palate and my own understanding, my own voice for beer. And for you to do the same and kind of compare it together, that's in 2020, after 8 years of knowing each other, that's something to cherish with. I think that's something to appreciate as well.
That is tough. I agree.
Right, and even in this very difficult time of COVID-19, we're all locked down, and we cannot share. I mean, what's in Korea, the last thing you want to do is drink yourself, right? Because you're always sharing with somebody else. You always have somebody. The whole point of soju, the whole culture of shoju, is that you pour it for somebody else, is because you're never forcing yourself to drink alone. And I think COVID-19 has really changed that culture, and to be sharing it digitally, at least. We call it digital kanpai in Japan.
Yeah. No, this
it's
is not
been
my
something
first.
special.
It's not my first beer drinking online. I haven't done a beer tasting, but I definitely had a few drinks through conference calling. It's not bad.
Was it during the COVID-19, or was it
during
before
COVID-19? Yeah.
COVID-19.
No, during COVID-19,
definitely.
yeah.
COVID-19.
Before, I like to meet people in person and have a good time.
I really appreciate the time you gave me when I was in London. I think you really did. I think return the favor more than what I did here, I would say, when you came to Kitakyushu, unfortunately. Yeah, but you made me very drunk.
But, I also liked it too. We went to Hackney Week. We had good beers. I wanted you to have a good experience, and we should have some good beers together because it's London. Yeah, you can have good beers.
And it was kind of crazy that I was coming to London the same year that you did come to Kitakyushu as well. Never really thought about it. We never thought that we would win an award that we had to go to London to pick it up. And it was crazy that I didn't have the visa until one day before. It was crazy. Yeah, I had the visa on Friday. I had to fly on Saturday. It wasn't even sure that I would fly. And I think I remember reaching there at around 11 o'clock, and I texted you and you said, okay, let's go. 11 o'clock, right?
Go.
And then we went out. And I think you were talking about this brewery where they had the nightclub and the brewery itself. And that was just mind-blowing for me. And some of the places that I got to see in Hackney Week was just out of the world, because they had They were
Oh,
dancing. It's a brewery. They're brewing beers there. It's kind of like, it's very different. And everybody was
yeah,
outside in the cold drinking beer.
yeah.
What is this? Because people
This is
never.
England. This is England. Yeah, you stand outside, you drink beer. Winter time, summertime, doesn't matter. You stand outside and drink. Yeah.
Well, so that's something that I've never seen before, because people would not like to stand outside without a heater. Because I saw in Hackney Week that there was no heater, because I looked at the photos, after coming back, and I said, "Can I find some heaters around?" No, there's no heaters. People were just like sitting down,
Yeah.
cold, drinking beer, and still completely okay. They were like enjoying it, and that was something really special
Yeah.
for me.
Unfortunately, things closed early. I remember we were at the beer merchant's tap
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
had to down the beer. We bought a bunch of beers,
yeah,
imp stouts, like the big beers, and we
yeah.
just had to down them.
Huge beers.
Yeah.
And we had to down that, and they were good beers. Like, it's not a downing beer. You had to sip it.
It is not.
Like, you had to take your time, and
To
you go
sip
like,
it. Yeah.
whoo, like just like.
I remember your face. You were like, you drank this omnipoloscope. I don't remember which one it was. You
Yeah,
drank it. You were like, your face lit up. You were like, I'm here. I'm in London. That was the face you were
right.
giving me. Like, I
Yeah,
finally arrived.
exactly.
Yeah.
Finally, I don't care or the award or whatever. I like this
Whatever.
beer. Yeah,
Big
I like
Ben,
this beer.
fucking British Museum. Nobody cares. Yeah, this
And
is the beer.
remember the hot dog we had? Holy shit, that guy put a lot of onions, and I had a hard time
Great
eating it.
man.
Yeah, I
I
had a hard
love
time
that guy.
eating the hot dog, dude. Holy shit.
I wonder how that guy's doing during the COVID-19. I don't know. There's no one eating
Man,
his hot
I think
dogs.
that guy is struggling at the moment, because
But he
then the
did it for what? He said 20, 30 years he's been serving hot dogs. That spot, Hackney Wick.
same spot.
Very fatty onions, fatty sausage. I'd like one right now. I'd like one right now. That's all I can say.
I wouldn't I wouldn't mind. And then we took that Uber Bangladeshi
Bangladesh.
guy, and then yeah, and then we went to the Chinese place to eat. They're
Oh,
really
did we get the
amazing
noodles?
noodles. Yeah,
Did
we
we get
got
the
the noodles.
noodles? Oh, we got the fucking noodles. They're
We
the
got the
fucking
noodles.
best
Yeah,
noodles
we got
ever.
the
Yeah.
noodles. The
If you
noodles
want to
was just
know,
like they were making it from scratch, as I remember, because they were like making the dough and then they were cutting it. And
this
man,
is a guy. Both of us lived in Korea. This guy lived in Japan long time. He said these noodles are amazing in London. If you want to know, talk to me. I'll tell
right.
you.
And
Very
we
amazing
were
noodles.
having it. I mean, I remember going straight to, we didn't even go to like burger place or any of those places. We went straight to Chinatown. We went straight to that place where the noodles were
Amazing,
served.
amazing noodles. Oh,
Amazing noodles. I still remember that. I think it's absolutely right. Wrong thing to say, but like on my tongue,
yeah.
I can still taste it. I can visualize it. It's difficult to even not visualize that. And the beauty was that I was living in Piccadilly Circus, right? I was living
Yeah.
right there at the center, made life so much easier.
It was a good spot.
Fortunately, I
Yeah.
think Piccadilly Circus is right now deserted. No people.
Oh, I was there the other day. I went there on my bike.
Mm,
Um, bought some beers. I bought some beers
mm, mm.
at Whole Foods. But yeah, there's some people there still, but it's empty. Central London is empty because
Empty.
nobody lives there. It's mostly stores, shops, company offices. Way more empty than up here where I'm living, residential area, Little Venice. But it's really interesting to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
It's
you
a
got to come. You got to come again. You got to come again.
sure. But I'm not sure if I get to come again. It's not cheap to be traveling. And let's say with the income I have in Nepal, it's going to be difficult. And I think it would be better if you. So my whole point is to bring people over from abroad to Nepal. I think that would be more interesting. So I think you would be down someday.
Yeah, no, I planned it
Nepal,
into.
because Hyunmin has already done that. I've taken him to really interesting places, and um, he loved it in many respects. So I think if you can come to Nepal, not that there will be breweries there to visit, but there will definitely be other things to see.
I will promise something called momos. That's on you. They were supposed to be the best dumplings ever, but definitely Nepal is planned into my life of trips. You know, I'm
Sure.
not going to be able to visit every place in the world, right? Nepal is on the top 10.
Right.
But you got to be there at the same time. So
Right. So I'll pick you up at the airport, because if you just come at the airport, it's going to be very difficult. Same thing happened with Hyunmin as well. I picked him up at the airport,
yeah.
took him up at my place.
But
But
didn't you also went there with Seoul and Nam, right?
yeah, yeah. When they were
Crazy.
together, right. So they came to my place. They stayed at my place as well. They lived with my family. Yeah, unfortunately, things unfortunately went sideways with them. I already could see that long time before, but this is going on record. But still,
We
we
can kind of,
I think
if it has to be, we can kind of.
you honest. I think you knew it too, in a way.
No, I mean, I wasn't like it so negative, but I went. I was there in January. I went with Seoul to Nam Young's bar. She works for Shitty Hand and Malt. I don't know why.
She's working for
And
Animal now.
Hand and Malt's their pub in
What?
Jongno, whatever.
Wait, she left Mikeller?
Yeah, she left McKellar. She didn't like it anymore. She left the booth. Yeah. And I mean, Henry is trying to recruit her. I don't know how that's going, but he's trying to recruit her. But it was awkward. It was very awkward going there. I think it was the first time they saw each other in a long time.
Wait, you met them together?
Yeah, Seoul said, "Let's go to Namgyong's pub together."
Soul said that.
So I think he used me as an excuse to talk to her. We did go there. At first, it was completely fine. Yeah, because Namgyong has a new boyfriend. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
Okay.
We can cut this out. I don't know. So he's like way into her still. Like he wants her back. This
What?
for sure.
Soul.
For sure.
Soul wants it.
He wants her back.
But
like
he's the one who created the whole problem.
Yeah, he's the one. Of course he is. Of course he is. So, not talking about the guy.
All right. Let's
In
change
general,
the topic. Right.
No. He's still no. We're still the same topic. He's still the same guy. He's still the same guy. But being there, obviously, he was getting very sentimental, Korean style. Korean drama. He was. Yeah, that was somewhat awkward. Anyways, both great people in their own way. Maybe not together. Who knows? But I had a good time with both of them.
Sure. I love them both.
They were the last people I saw in Korea before I left.
Yeah, I mean, I love them both because they came to Nepal, man, and they were living with my family. They mingled with my family, so yeah, it's difficult to see them apart. And this goes by record. We love you guys both, right?
Johannes?
For sure.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. Like without a doubt. And I think even I would like to quote Sol what he said when I went there in January. Like he was like, "Yeah, I really really liked you, Johannes. I met you. It was an introduction. Then I met Hyun Min, great guy. Then I met Abbas. That's the best guy. This number one." But it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, emotions. It's understandable. Difficult. But Jonas, I think, you should plan for Nepal someday. And let's hope that we have a proper brewery. So I got to actually connect with some very interesting Nepalese who have been brewing in Nepal. So the idea is to basically learn what the Bhutanese are doing and to expand exactly in Nepal. And the funny thing, what Bhutanese are doing is just exactly what Magpie was doing before. They were contract brewing to Seven Brow and another brewery, I forgot. But what
Kraftwerks.
Bhutanese, sorry,
Kraftwerks, they were doing something.
Not even Kraftwerk, Seven Brow, and there was another brewery called, I forgot right now. So there was two breweries.
Let's move on, yeah.
Oh, Kabru. Remember Kabru?
But they're the ones who did the Kraftwerks beer.
Right. So Kraftwerks basically contracted it to Kabru, right? But Magpie would give their recipes to Seven Brow and Kabru. So they would do it with two contract brewing. And interestingly, a lot of Indian breweries, they give contract brewing to Bhutan. So they're exporting beer.
Yeah.
Right? That is very interesting. And I contacted, so they have Sherbhum Brewery, and they have another brewery in Bhutan. I forgot, Namge. They have gay in the brewery, but Namge Brewery and Sherbhum Brewery. Namge Brewery is the one that's taking leadership in doing craft festivals, collaborating with Mikkeller. So I contacted Namge and I said, would you like me to be there for a month? I would do anything for you guys. I would wash the dishes. I would clean, whatever. I just need to learn how you guys do it. And they said, sure, if the COVID-19 situation gets better.
Wait, you're going to a brewery in Korea?
In Bhutan.
The brewery in Bhutan is called Namge.
Namge, yeah.
Sounds Korean, man.
Yeah, that sounds Namge Artisanal Ale. That's what they call their
sounds
beer.
Way Korean, mate.
Right, Namge, and they have Sherbhum, which is another brewery. So I'm looking at both of them and thinking if I could go there for a month. And it's difficult because the same rules that apply to you as a foreigner to get into Bhutan applies to me as well. So yeah, but I have some friends in Foreign Ministry of Bhutan, which allows me to then navigate through their system. Because if somebody from Foreign Ministry of Bhutan sends me an invitation, I don't have to pay $200 a day. So
you have to spend $200 a day to be there.
Exactly, right.
That's expensive as fuck.
Exactly. So if I want to stay there for a month, it's kind of crazy, right?
Okay.
So I contacted my friend there, and he said, I'm the right person to contact me. He said, I'll write you a recommendation letter, don't worry. But if the COVID-19 situation improves, then what I'll do is I'll go there. I'll fucking live there like a shit guy for a month doing washing.
Invite me.
Yeah, I think I will do that too. I'll do that too. Sure.
I
So
will come
I
there.
have
I will
some.
give you one good day.
I have a couple of friends there in Bhutan because we QTech built the first satellite, right? There was a point where if you had dropped a bomb in my room, the whole space program of Bhutan would have stopped because like I had all the Bhutanese here in in my room, like drinking beer in I think the new year of 2000. What was it? 18, 19? I don't know. 19, I think. And if one of those guys invites you, because you get only one quota per year, as I understand, you don't have to pay the money per $200 per day or $150 per day. Yeah.
Cool. It's very cool.
Yeah,
Invite
so
me.
it would be very interesting where like you get to see and live through the whole process and see how they do the business, really understand from ground up how they do it. And then it's not necessary that you become a competitor, but you become a, let's say, collaborator in that process. I think Nepal has a huge potential for that. Let's see.
I would like to. I would like to see that. I would like to see that.
Right. And I'll let you know. Obviously. How that goes. Oof. So Johannes, it was really good talking to you. Do you think we should end it now since it's almost?
I think it.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is for you. I think it's an appropriate time. I think we should do a BeerCast 3. Look forward to that. Don't look forward to watching whatever we produce right now. But
Man,
I
tomorrow
guess
is
I'm
going to be
forced
an
to do it.
interesting day where we sort of like look back, and I'll send you this video where I think maybe version number 3 would be interesting. We should continue doing this just to record what we're doing.
It's
I think
amazing, yeah.
so a lot of people think about like we want to record it for people, whatever. It's recording for us and the people that we really care about, and they want to
Because
listen.
no one else would ever watch this shit.
Sure, that is definitely true.
It's pretty accurate. I mean, it's pretty accurate. I mean,
sure.
But we love it. I love it.
We love it. I love it. I mean, it's been such an honor knowing you, and you have really changed the way I have moved forward, and I've always appreciated that from you. I think you should know that.
I'm very honored to hear that. But I think when you go down a few beers, you always get to that point. So
you always get to that point. All right. All right, Johannes, it was good talking to you. Let me just stop this recording.
Yeah.
And see where this leads. Let's see if I can end the meeting. So I have to end the meeting. Really? Okay, I can stop the recording. Let me just